Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2009-2010 Norristown Eagles football season. This is a year of high expectations, high hopes, and it is my devout wish that my partner here, Mark Kolodinsky, and I, Dave Pizzini, will bring you an exciting and scintillating year of football. So Mark, the first thing on our agenda, talk about Northeast and their exciting quarterback, Malik Stokes.
Malik Stokes being recruited by several Division I schools, including Boston College, Tennessee, Clemson, Pitt, UVA, and a dynamic force. He's by far the best player on this Northeast team, and has a lot of mobility too, so that's something they also need to watch out for. Norristown will counter with sophomore quarterback Shannon Mayer, who's certainly not proven force Stokes is, but at the same time showing a lot of promise for the Eagles.
ESPN has this to say about Stokes. They say the issue with Stokes, even though he's a pro-style quarterback with a good but not great arm, does he have the strength and ability to be a true pocket passer? They say he needs to be in a spread scheme where he could be a big threat as a runner, and that gives us a good segue to talk about the Norristown Eagles of 2009-2010, who are going to try to stop them. And where we're starting this year is the defensive line. The defensive line this year with ends Evan Battaglio and Larry Smith and tackles Nick Bloomer, Marcus Robbins, and Terrence Edwards promise to be a formidable force, putting the smack down on any quarterbacks who try to get cute.
Yeah, the defensive line should figure to be a strength this year with those players that you mentioned. And the pass rush, as we know, is one of the most important, if not the most important aspect of defense. And that helps out the secondary so much. And it's a secondary that features outstanding speed and athleticism with Sheldon Mayer and Anthony Roby, who are also the stars of this offense.
And let's take a second and talk about Roby and Mayer. Not only are they stars on the defensive side of the ball with Mayer's hard hits and interceptions, but also Ant Roby, the number 77 according to ESPN, cornerback recruit in the nation. So Roby, all over the place, a human highlight film. He ran a 4.340 at the college combine, and 4.340 speed is downright elite. So that's something that Coach E.J. Smith and the Norristown Eagles are going to have to involve him in the passing game as well. Big threat speed downfield. But Sheldon Mayer, that's where the offense starts. That's the engine that makes the Norristown Eagles go.
Yeah, and Sheldon Mayer last year with 1,224 yards rushing, another 100 or so receiving, led the team in catches, tied with Anthony Roby, and started out extremely strong in the first half last year and then tailed off a little bit. But he's definitely the star of this offense, and if you have him, anything can happen.
And last year, as we mentioned, the Eagles' fortunes were so inextricably tied up with Mayer's. Mayer started off the season strong. He had 4+ games with 150 yards rushing plus. He was a highlight film. He was unstoppable. But gradually, defenses started to catch on and realize that Norristown didn't have any other options. So that's why it's key for Coach E.J. Smith to make sure Roby's downfield, the youngest Mayer, Shannon, at quarterback, sophomore quarterback, big play potential, high risk, high reward. He throws the deep ball, throws some picks. So hopefully this year during camp, he's got the control issues under control, and he can eliminate some of those mistakes. But he has a big arm and some great big-ticket receivers downfield.
Yeah, he also has a ton of mobility, something that many Norristown quarterbacks of the past have had, and that's another threat that defenses will have to watch out for. And it'll all be about Sheldon Mayer just breaking those big runs, because it seemed like last year he would get 3 yards here, 4 yards there, and then he'd break off a 60-yarder. But as you said, once the defenses started to figure things out a little bit more, that was a problem. So, as you said, Shannon Mayer is going to have a lot of responsibility on him, and he's young, he's unproven, but very, very talented.
The Norristown Times-Herald today, when they released their preseason predictions and talking about the various teams, they said the key for the Eagles was consistency, not only on the field but also off the field as well. Coach E.J. Smith mentioned distractions. Distractions can tear a team apart, and those distractions, as Coach Smith mentioned, take on many forms. Extracurricular activities that might not necessarily be part of school, academic eligibility, and some frankly, some discipline problems that have plagued the Eagles in the past. So they have to eliminate those off-the-field distractions, keep it focused, keep the academics up to speed, and make sure everybody's eligible, make sure everybody's here for every week.
Yeah, it actually reminds me of the basketball team in this school, of course, very successful, and they preached family, family, family. And when they did that, without adding all that much talent, they were able to do so many more things. And that's hopefully that the pattern that head coach E.J. Smith and the rest of these Eagles are trying to follow. Hopefully if they can create that family atmosphere, they too can go on to greater things, because talent is one thing, but the game of football goes a lot deeper than talent.
Well, consistency is going to be key for the Eagles tonight as they face a very tough Northeast team with quarterback Malik Stokes, the number 50 ranked quarterback in the country, and as Mark mentioned, many of those elite squads recruiting him, Clemson's, Michigan's, and all that. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Eagles defense does against Stokes tonight. We're looking forward to a big year. We're wrapping things up the pregame. We'll see you in a few. Okay. And here they come. Mark, we're off. Eagles sporting a little bit bigger squad this year than they have in years past. Looks like a nice, strong squad. As we mentioned in the pregame, the size of the offensive and defensive line is going to be a nice change of pace for the Eagles. A couple times last year, trying to execute their running game, they couldn't sustain drives at the end because their offensive line didn't have the size and power to generate sustained drives. They couldn't. Their time of possession was deplorable. This year, that's going to change.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. They lose some valuable leadership and skill along the line, losing players such as Jim Gallagher, Curtis Haley, but they're going to replace them with very, very nice replacements such as Nick Bloomer, who will be a captain this year, and a senior, Marcus Robbins, same for him. And the line is very balanced this year. I don't really see any weaknesses in it.
No real weaknesses. One of the, I guess, keys for Coach Smith this year is going to be figuring out that fullback position. Last year, that's one thing that really never clicked. The fullback position was kind of a fullback by committee. Ron McMillan was in there for several games. They tried Derek Williams. They even put speed specialist and 100 meters track star Sam Kellejour there. This year, it looks like they're going with C.J. Douglas. He's going to be their every down guy, but I think Williams is going to get some spots there too. I want to see consistency from that position, because if you don't have a legitimate power threat to counterbalance Mayer, defenses can just key on him all day.
Yeah, and I think it's going to take some experimenting and some working out different things. I mean, you have Tracy Presley, who they also you might see at the fullback spot sometimes. And sometimes they are going to want to do something like what they did with Sam Kellejour and put a lot of speed back there, because they have so much of it. And the more you put on the field, the more of a threat there is for a big play. So I think you'll see a lot of different guys moving in and out for at least some time. But like you said, hopefully they can find some consistency at that position, because it's a very underrated position.
Well, if they can't, what do you think about some? I know that there's, with Michael Vick in town, there's been a lot of talk about trick plays, trick offenses, stuff like that. But even more relevant and germane to this discussion than Vick is Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson, a speed burner, get some carries on end arounds, they do some trick plays, and they get the ball in his hands. What do you think about an offensive philosophy on Coach Smith's part that's kind of a departure, where Roby actually gets some carries and Roby gets some touches like that, giving him the ball in open space?
Well, that was what I was thinking about. Is you have Anthony Roby with his 4.3 speed, already committed to Temple University to play football. The track star. He's got so much speed. He's such a dynamic force. Every time he touches the ball, he could break away. But you have a stud running back in Sheldon Mayer and an unproven quarterback in Shannon Mayer. So, how much is this team going to be passing the ball? And if that's the case, how are they going to be able to utilize Anthony Roby? And like you said, maybe some end arounds. Maybe you put him behind the center, let him take some snaps, like in some kind of a wildcat or some variation of it. But maybe just short passes or put him in the backfield, or let's see how creative they can be, because this is a guy they have to use. Last year, 17 catches. That's all well and good, but when you have somebody like this, you want him to touch the ball more than 17 times a season.
You know who else promises to be a major contributor to the Eagles' offense? Tight end Evan Battaglio. Big number 81. He's going to get it done in the red zone. No linebacker can match his size, and he's got some good speed too. He hits it hard in the weight room, and Coach E.J. Smith said that he's going to really make a concerted effort to get Battaglio the ball when they're down in the 20.
Yeah, and I heard that as well, and he's amazingly strong. And last year, just 6 catches for 71 yards all year, but expected that number to take a huge uptick this year. He made all-league first team last year, primarily because of his outstanding blocking. But this year, you should see an added dimension of receiving to go with number 81.
Strength, speed. You hear about guys who are gym rats. You hear about these guys who, like Eagles defensive end Mike Mamula, the Philadelphia Eagles. Years ago, he was a total gym rat. He was able to impress at the combines. He bench pressed 225, a ridiculous amount, like 50 reps. He was the strongest one there, but he couldn't get it done on the field. These Eagles have hit the weight room hard in the offseason, and there are 4 or 5 guys who are bench pressing over 300 pounds, and they all tell me when I talk to them that translates to the field. They're blowing guys off the ball. They're getting off the ball explosively. They're making hits, and they're putting that strength in the functional football stuff on the field. They're getting it done.
Well, yeah, and the same exact thing can be said about speed. They have tons of speed, they have tons of athleticism, but how can they use it in the game? And then we'll pause for the national anthem.
Athletic Director Charles Dolson said he might grace us with his tenor voice, and he might sing the national anthem tonight, but I guess that never came to fruition. Our captains for tonight for Norristown: number 25, tailback Sheldon Mayer; number 63, big offensive lineman; 65, even bigger, Marcus Robinson; and number 1, Evan Battaglio. Captains from the Northeast: the dynamic, elite Stone certified quarterback, 18, Barnes, and 69.
We're just about ready to get underway. I'm looking forward to seeing this Norristown passing attack with Stokes. That should be a lot of fun to watch. But Eagles will have a lot on their hands to stop. Hopefully they can get a W and hopefully I'll take a positive.
In the conversation with Coach Smith I had earlier, he said to me that their primary focus was stopping Stokes. They had some big receivers to throw to as well. So hopefully Norristown's defensive defensive backs can counteract some of the size of Northeast receivers and they don't get anywhere to go. A couple big plays can really demoralize a team like Norristown. So hopefully they can keep them off the board.
Yeah, it'll be a great matchup because, like we said, Norristown has those great defensive backs in Roby and Mayer. And then, of course, Northeast has the great quarterback in Stokes. So it's going to be a great head-to-head matchup.
One of the things we haven't mentioned so far, and we will mention now, is the Eagles' special teams play. Last year, they started to get better with it. But the beginning of the season, the special teams play was a train wreck. They couldn't get anything done. Snaps were flying over people's heads. It looked like a Keystone Cops or Three Stooges routine every time they go out in the field. And it would often be a 6 back the other way. That's going to be key right here. Big returns and minimizing mistakes on special teams for Norristown is going to be key. So we'll see how that goes tonight. Something to look for.
Yeah, a lot of people overlook that, what you just said, special teams and making mistakes on special teams. Some people just take that for granted, and then when it goes wrong and changes the course of a game, people don't realize how important it is until then. So that's definitely going to be key, along with the penalties, because sometimes people don't realize what an impact penalties can have on a game. 5 yards here, 10 yards there, and the Eagles would seemingly lose the penalty battle every single week. And another thing that could be overlooked, but it cost the Eagles some games last year, I think.
It cost the Eagles at least 2 games, some of the special teams miscues, including, remember, Wissahickon. A few of those big returns set up nice runs by stud running back Merton Ross, and he did a great job against Norristown last year, but that wasn't entirely because of the defense. You give a team a short field, they're going to capitalize on it if they're halfway decent.
Well, the coverage will be put to the test right away as the Eagles will kick it away first.
Eagles lost their kicker, number 22, Ian Hammer. So it looks like number 34, Marcus Stewart's going to be kicking it off this year. See what kind of leg he puts behind it. .5'10", 180-pound junior about to kick it off, and here we go.
We are underway in the 2009 high school football season, and the Northeast Vikings with number 22, Taylor, getting all the way out to nearly midfield and then being stopped with a big hit.
So right away, we got trouble, my friends, right here in River City, with the capital T, and that rhymes with C, and that stands for coverage.
Yeah, definitely not a good start. We were just talking about it, and right on cue, the Eagles give up a big return, and the Vikings have great field position, and we get our first look at Malik Stokes. This should be fun. Stokes with a man in motion. He's got 4 wide receivers, and he hands it off inside, and they gain about a yard.
Not much going on in there. Number 63, Bloomer, on the tackle, and looks like the Eagles' defensive line and the priority that they put on that position really is going to pay off.
So the Vikings open up with a run, but we'll expect to see them with a heavy passing attack, due in large part to their stud quarterback, Malik Stokes.
They're in the eye.
And they hand it off once again, and this time a gain of 1, maybe 2.
And you wonder if the ESPN scouting report on Stokes did say putting him in a spread offense and taking him out of the pro-style game would be best for someone of his talents. And you wonder, looking at the first couple plays, if the I formation might stifle a player like that. Running a pro-style offense, it really can stifle people with some more athletic improvisational gifts.
3rd and 6. We're on the first drive of the game. The Northeast Vikings in their road white uniforms and the Eagles in the home blues. Man in motion. Stokes takes a snap, goes back to pass, throws over the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended for number 17, Brindage.
Had a little drop there. Stokes threw it a bit behind him. Normally, that's not a kind of throw he misses. He's good at the short, quick ones, a very live arm. The report on him, though, is trouble making some of the deeper throws. Surprising he doesn't connect over the middle there. So Northeast will have to punt.
Well, the Eagles have two men back deep. I believe that's Akeem Boyd and Anthony Dinolfi. So we'll see what they do on this return with two men deep.
Terrible snap.
They get it off, though, miraculously, and Dinolfi takes it at the 10. He's got the 15. He's at the 20. Not much room, but he finds a little seam. He's at the 25 and the 30, and he's going to be gone. Anthony Dinolfi to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Anthony Dinolfi, and the Eagles are off to a 6-0 start on a Anthony Dinolfi return of about 90 yards. Wow.
Key on that play, other than, of course, the spectacular run by Dinolfi, making something out of nothing. When he had a seam, though, and he was about to be caught, a couple key blocks sprung him, and he did all the rest. Brilliant play, nice piece of running, great blocking, and hopefully the ghosts of the special teams have been exorcised.
Yeah, whatever mistakes they had on the opening coverage kickoff, they sure made up for there. And Shane Franzone, the new Norristown place kicker, will try to add on the extra point, but they have to call a timeout.
You never want to see that. That is boneheaded. You never want to see that right away. Blowing a timeout.
I believe they only had 10 guys on the field. But, boy, yeah, that's just terrible. And hopefully that doesn't come back to bite them, and it very well could.
That stuff drives coaches crazy. Calling a timeout on something like that, not having enough men on the field, that's just a lack of heads-up play.
And on an extra point, I mean, just inexcusable. That's the kind of things that this team has to eliminate, but...
Well, young team, bound to make some mistakes. The offense hasn't been on the field yet, and already we have 7 points.
Yeah,
well, 6. We'll see.
So here we go again. Friend zone. Gonna try and add on the extra point. Number 7, Taylor Hillenbrand, will be the holder. And it's blocked. Wow. I mean, nothing really went right on that extra point. It's just fundamentals right there, and boy, no kinds of protection on that extra point. And combine that with a good kick rush, and I mean that kick didn't have a chance.
I'm trying to find someone to attribute that block to, and basically, I guess I'll say the right half of the line. It kind of hit 5 guys at once, so that was terrible at best.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I mean, they burn a timeout and they don't even convert. But it's 6-0 Eagles. Off to a good start despite some ugly mistakes.
Ugly.
And the Eagles will kick it off once again. We are just 1 minute, 45 seconds into the game. It's 6-0 Eagles.
It's like number 2, Harmon, back deep for Northeast, along with number 22, Taylor.
Yeah, and Taylor's the one who got that big return on the opening kickoff. And once again, Marcus Stewart will kick it off.
It's the Eagles with their kickoff specialist, Stewart, but their regular kicker, Franzone, delegating the duties there.
It's a little bit of a squib, and it's picked up by Harmon. He breaks away from a tackle at the 30. Now he's past the 35, all the way up to the 40 and just past there. So, once again, pretty good field position for the Vikings. And they'll start it up right there.
Special teams seems determined to want to push the defense to show them what they'll do. You know, you talk about putting a positive spin on things. Here's my positive spin. the special teams intentionally didn't make those 2 tackles because they wanted to make it more challenging for the defense. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, and also the kick wasn't all that great either, and that certainly doesn't help the coverage out any. So here comes Malik Stokes and the rest of his Vikings once again. He's in the shotgun with 4 wide receivers, and he'll hand it off inside, and they're going to lose about 2 yards.
That's 68 right there. Joey Lang on the tackle. Great play. Northeast is going to have a tough time running on this revamped and revitalized Norristown defensive line. I thought Stokes with the 4 wides with in the shotgun, they were going to give him a chance to show off some of the improvisation, but run right back up the middle. Maybe setting Norristown up, though, for some of Stokes' magic.
And Lang isn't even one of those big-time names on the line that we're talking about, but making a big play there. And now, once again, he'll be in the shotgun, and I'm surprised they've come out running the ball as much as they have. But here they come throwing it now with Stokes rolling out a little bit to his right, and it's tipped by Mayer, but still caught. And all the way down to the Eagles' 36 is number 12, Sly. So there's what we talk about with Stokes and the plays he can make down the field. Showed a little bit of his mobility, and he got a big gain.
Got a big gain. He's not the number 50 quarterback in the country without reason. Capable of making those throws downfield. Rare in high school quarterbacks. I mean, high school quarterbacks traditionally have trouble making some of those deeper throws, but Stokes looks pretty comfortable.
I think Sheldon Mayer got a finger on that, too. Now they run it up the middle, and they get the first down and more all the way down to the 20. And that's number 3, Hines.
Not stellar play by the Eagles' front 4 there, and the linebackers were nowhere to be seen. They're going to have to do a better job than that coming up and stuffing that run.
Well, it'll be 1st and 10 once again. The Vikings moving the ball with ease on this drive. Once again, it'll be Stokes in the shotgun with Hines flanking him as the halfback. A little play action. He's going to keep it himself and gets a solid gain. He picked up about 7.
Nice little play there. Nothing fancy. Just kept it, followed his blocking, picked up some good yardage. Eagles are going to have to watch for that. Obviously, Stokes is the Northeast Vikings' most potent weapon, so they're going to have to keep an eye on him, keep a little better eye on him than that.
He's got great mobility, which not only does it allow him to start scrambling and picking up yards on his feet when nothing else is open down the field, but it also gives his coaches an option to design plays for him to run, and that was one of them. Here's a run up the middle with Hines, all the way down to the 5, and they're finally able to bring him down. Denolfi and a host of other blue jerseys able to haul him down, but not after a decent gain.
Last year, the Eagles' Achilles heel on defense was that run up the middle. In between the tackles, the Eagles were deplorable. Outside, you couldn't get outside on the Eagles because Mayer and Roby were there for contain. But in between the tackles, the Eagles were susceptible. Hopefully that trend doesn't continue.
So Stokes in the shotgun with Max and Hines beside him, and they'll take it with Hines, and he picks up about 2.5, and it'll be 2nd and goal.
Northeast knocking on the door here. Right up the middle again. '81 Battaglio back in there at end.
It's 6-0 Eagles here with 7 minutes to go at Roosevelt Field in the Eagles opener. But the Vikings poised to change that score. And here's Stokes handing it off. And being stuffed at the line is number 22, Taylor.
63 Bloomer on the play.
What an outstanding play by Nick Bloomer. And it'll be 3rd and goal.
Bloomer made a real nice play, stayed low, got aggressive, beat his man, came in, and put him down. That's how it's done. Tackling fundamentals, good job, Eagles.
2 down, 1 to go for the Eagles defense in terms of stopping this Vikings goal line offense. And the Vikings call a timeout and try to figure out how they're going to punch this ball into the end zone.
If I'm Northeast, I let Stokes work some magic down here, and I give him a design, perhaps rollout play, but let him improvise, see what opens up. If he passes it, fine, he can make those throws. If he has to run it in, he can do that. 4.6 40 speed, he could beat just about anybody.
Yeah, you could even give him a rollout, which gives him an option to run, or to just throw a little 2-yard fling to the end zone. But yeah, I agree with you. You got to somehow use his abilities here. I mean, they tried to run up the middle. That clearly isn't going to work. And I mean, Stokes is the player he is for a reason, so let him do his thing. Let's see if the coaches agree with us.
Beautiful night here at Roosevelt Field. It really is perfect football weather. 72 degrees, sunny. There's grass as far as the eye can see. I mean, normally you look out at the end of Roosevelt Field, kind of beat up at the end of the year. You see big swaths of mud, if mud even comes in swaths. But not this year. A lot of grass, green, verdant pastures of historic Roosevelt Field. It's a beautiful thing.
Number 20, Max, is in the backfield, and Stokes under center. He'll drop back, rolls out to his left, throws it up, and it's incomplete. The only person who had a chance at catching that was Anthony Roby, and the Eagles' defense gets it done.
I thought for a second, Mark, that Roby was going to have a chance to show us what he can do. He was out there all alone, looking like he was the intended receiver. If he got that, there was nothing between Anthony and that other end zone.
Then we'd get to see that 4.35 40 time on display from end zone to end zone, but can't complain. The Eagles do make the stop, and I believe the Vikings, are they going to go for it?
They are going to go for it.
So the Eagles still have one more stop to make here. I don't know about this decision, but here's Stokes dropping back to throw. Looking to his left, throws it up to the corner of the end zone, and it's complete for a touchdown to number 18, Barnes. Wow, what a throw by Stokes. And the Eagles with a heartbreaking defensive drive, and we got a tie game at 6 with the extra point coming up.
That's exactly what Coach Smith was worried about with the size of these wide receivers. Barnes is tall. The rosters that they gave us are somewhat truncated, so we're unable to ascertain how tall, but taller, so that'll be good. And yeah, that's what happens.
The extra point is no good, so we have exchanged touchdowns and missed extra points here at Roosevelt Field, and it's a 6-all game.
This is some bad kicking.
That's an understatement.
I don't know what happens. I mean, I know that in Pop Warner ball, typically you go for 2, right? I don't know if these guys just never practice it or they never have had the fundamentals reinforced as that part of the game. But I distinctly remember in middle school football working on special teams, practicing it, and occasionally, even making some of them. I don't know what happens in high school. It's a total breakdown.
Yeah, I don't know. It almost seems like they're taking it for granted. I mean, they're not. I'm sure they work on it constantly, right, but it sure doesn't look like it right now. And you can't take those things for granted.
And you can't leave points on the field. You can't give up those points. It is mathematically possible to lose a game by 1 point.
Akeem Boyd and Brandon Shippen are back deep at the Eagles' 10 to receive this kickoff. Number 13 will kick it off.
He who shall not be named, about to kick. Voldemort.
Number 13 with no name on our roster here, and that kick is a pretty short one. It will be fielded by Shippen. He's at the 20, he's at the 30, and he'll be spilled at about the 32. And the Eagles will set up their offense there. And we'll get our first look at the Mayer brothers, Roby, and the rest of them. It's going to be exciting to see these guys for the first time.
I am excited. I can't wait. I've been waiting all week to see this offense get out in the field and show what it can do. And the explosiveness is second to none in the area.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And we're about halfway through the first quarter. And the Eagles, of course, with that score on special teams, their offense has not taken the field yet. So here we go.
Tracy Presley at the fullback position, talking about that at the beginning. Backs in the eye.
Mayer hands off to his brother Sheldon. Sheldon escaped the tackle momentarily, and he picks up 6 yards. Not bad.
Not bad, showing some escapability and elusiveness in between the tackles. In the high school game, you typically get some room to operate between the tackles. Provided the guard can blow the nose tackle off the ball, get him moving a little bit, you're going to get some space. In the college game, it starts to narrow up. In the pros, you only get a crease. But in high school game, you generally, if you're a good back like Mayer, have some room to operate between the tackles.
Roby and Milo Hill, once again, the 2 wide receivers. And Mayer takes the snap back. Rolls out to his right. Rolling, fires, and it's complete. And they have the first down, and they're all the way out to the 45.
And Roby, nice catch there. He did a good job. And, if I may be so bold, Shannon Mayer makes a throw there that Eagles quarterbacks aren't making in the past. Nice 15-yard curl, little hitch, come back, gets the ball. Roby, good patience. Mayer, good arm strength, makes a nice throw.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously have to see something in this kid if they're going to make him the starting quarterback as a sophomore. And was the backup as a freshman and got significant playing time. And we're starting to see some of it right now. Here's a handoff to Mayer, and he gets just short of the first down, it appears.
Tracy Presley, number 21, actually gets the ball on that carry. And Presley showing something here in the beginning. Getting some consistent fullback play is going to be key for the Eagles. Maybe they found the guy in Tracy Presley.
That would certainly be a huge asset. And now it's 2nd and 2.
Good fan turnout here at Roosevelt, as we mentioned, the nice weather. First game, it's good to see the community out supporting their gridiron heroes.
Mayer on the carry, and he'll pick up the first down. And a fresh set of downs for the Eagles. The Eagles offense looking pretty good thus far.
Looking good. They're doing what you want. You saw a little bit of Shannon Mayer. Nice hook up to Roby. That's going to be the connection all year. You saw Sheldon Mayer getting a few nice carries. You saw something from the fullback. What I'm waiting for now is some involvement for Battaglio. Getting him working the creases for 10, 15 yards, that's going to be key for the Eagles in their developing passing offense.
Well, I don't think the Eagles have changed personnel once on this drive, and they'll stick with it here. Here's Mayer rolling out to his left and running over a referee and getting a couple of yards.
Wow. He blew him backwards. That it was funny. Like, you could see his facial expression. You saw the impending collision coming in his eyes about 5 yards before it actually happened. But he was like paralyzed and unable to do anything about it. So because he got up and was unhurt, it's funny.
And Shannon Mayer, of course, picking up about 4 yards as well on the carry. And like his counterpart, Stokes, he's very dangerous with his feet. Mayer under center. Once again, Presley and the other Mayer in the backfield. Mayer on the toss, looking for somewhere to go. Makes one man miss, but there's nothing there. But there is a flag.
That's going to be a hold there, Mark. That play was doomed from the start. Nice penetration, good contain. So now we're going to set him back a couple yards.
So that's going to make it 2nd and long, about 16.
Yeah, it's going to be 2nd and far.
We'll get the official word from the referees.
Time to throw.
Get to see just how strong Shannon Mayer's arm really is. And I think the coaches, it's a very small sample size so far, but I think they're doing a good job. Like on that play to Roby, or on that play where he was able to run and pick up the couple of yards. Just get him some easy stuff going, some stuff that he's comfortable with before you unleash him with the deep ball. Because he's young, he's unproven, and it's going to be important to get him comfortable above all else.
3:26 left to go in the first quarter.
Shannon Mayer dropping back to throw, rolling out to his left. Now throwing deep down the field for Roby, and it was just over Roby's head. I don't think Roby read that one very well.
Roby had a step on his man. He was deep downfield, had his man beat, but nothing they could do about it. Mayer just overthrew him a little bit, but he's got the arm. So with the score tied up 6-6 here, with 3 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in the first quarter. It's 4th and 10, and the Eagles will have to punt.
Back to punt is number 7, Taylor Hillenbrand, who will be the punter for the Eagles this year, also the holder. Gets off a high punt, and it's fielded at the 10, a good punt, and a return of about 5 yards. So
good
good punt, good coverage, and not good field position for the Vikings. Good job.
Eagles defense now, hopefully getting some of that penetration and putting some pressure, keeping Stokes from getting comfortable and getting him thinking that he could do whatever he wants. That's going to be key, making sure that Stokes isn't comfortable. Keep him off balance.
Yeah, and last time he was on the field, he threw that little 2-yard touchdown pass to the corner of the end zone, so he probably has some of that confidence right now. And like you said, it's important that that doesn't build up.
Seen a couple different looks from the Vikings here tonight. You've seen traditionally Stokes in a pro formation, a couple times in a spread. We'll see what he does here.
Stokes with the handoff. And getting about 2 or 3 is number 22, Taylor.
Looks like their primary back. Taylor picks up a couple yards. Stokes does a good job not telegraphing his handoffs. He's a sophisticated player, got a good head on his shoulders.
So a nice gain on first down. It'll be 2nd and about 6.
Roby, the corner to the near side. Akeem Boyd, 18 to the far side. Defensive line looks poised.
Stokes under center with 2 men in the backfield, and he'll fake to them, and it's batted down at the line by number 78. That is Terrence Edwards on the bat down.
Nice play by Terrence Edwards there. Good penetration. Stokes had one target. He picked him out, but Edwards saw it, batted the ball down. That's the first thing they stress the defensive lineman. You can't get to the quarterback, make sure your hands are up. Keep him from seeing his throwing lanes. Also, up your chances of batting a ball down.
So it'll be 3rd and 6 now. Stokes under center. 4 wide receivers. He drops back. Quick drop, and he throws it too low for his intended target. Nice coverage on the play by Akeem Boyd, and it's 4th down. Good job by the Eagles defense.
Great job by the Eagles defense there. And another thing I couldn't help but notice, the Eagles defense seems to have much more fashion sense than their Northeast High Viking counterparts. Their untucked uniforms look relatively sloppy against the backdrop of the beautiful tall fescue here at Roosevelt Field. But the Eagles keep it tucked, looking good.
Once again, 2 men back deep for the return to Nolfi, and Boyd worked last time, so here it goes again. Nearly blocked, and the punt is high but short. It'll take a bounce and be downed at about the 45 of the Vikings.
You know what I like best about that play? It's the fact that no Eagle tried to pick up that ball and be a hero. That's the worst mistake you can make as a team returning a punt, is to have somebody try to outsmart themselves. Pick up the ball, put yourself in a risk for fumble. You don't want that. Stay away from it.
Very disciplined play, and that's something that the Eagles need to exercise. Once again, Mayer, Presley in the backfield. And a little bit of early movement along the lines. I think this is going to be against Northeast, but we will see.
Number 56, Pedersen, looks like he jumped. Perhaps Shannon Mayer's crisp count drew him off sides. We'll take the 5 yards.
It's interesting to me that, unlike the Vikings, the Eagles have pretty much gone with the same personnel and the same formation every single time out. And it's been Roby and Hill at wide receiver, Battaglio at tight end, and Presley and Mayer in the backfield. And they are moving the ball with some success. So, unfortunately, the last drive was derailed by a penalty, but it'll now be 1st and 5. Sheldon Mayer gets the handoff, gets the first down, and he's all the way out to the 30.
Gain of 15 right there by Sheldon. Some nice blocking on the left side of that line. Nice handoff from Shannon. Doesn't telegraph it, does a good job. Looks good. I'm impressed with what I've seen so far from the sophomore.
And of course, Shannon and Sheldon Mayer are brothers. Shannon, the sophomore, Sheldon, the senior, so we'll try our best not to get them confused this year.
Say that 3 times fast.
Sheldon Mayer once again on the carry, and he's got nowhere to go this time, and it's a gain of about 0.
They had a run blitz on there that blew that play up in the backfield. Nice play by Northeast, and they did a good job. They keyed on Mayer, and they got it right. You don't get that right, you get burned, because they were open out in the flat.
So it looks like Mayer actually lost a half a yard or a yard on that play, so it'll be 2nd and 11. The Eagles still in that I form with Presley and Mayer back there, and more early movement.
53, Jordan Taylor jumps there. You got to stay focused, stay disciplined, and not make mistakes like that.
So the Eagles give up some yards, but it's going to be 2nd and 16. Certainly not an ideal situation.
People still filling in here at Roosevelt Field. Looks really good. Looks like a good crowd.
The stand's already pretty full. I mean, it's a beautiful day. Everyone's excited for this team that's been off all summer and all winter. Here's Mayer. Up the middle and then turning it to the outside a little bit. He picks up almost all of the 16 yards needed for the first down. They'll have a very manageable 3rd down now.
Sheldon made a little error in judgment there, trying to cut it to the outside instead of taking some more yards. He'd had another 3 or 4 if he didn't try to make that cut to the outside. Tried to make the play a little bit bigger than what was there, but still rips off a nice run, leaving the Eagles in a manageable 3rd and 6.
But, you know, you can live with that because many times he tries to bounce it to the outside instead of taking the extra 3 or 4 yards, and he ends up breaking it off for a touchdown. So you can live with it when he when that happens.
With a player as dynamic as Mayer, I can live with it.
It'll be 3rd and 6. The first quarter about to end. Let's see if they get the playoff. They do. Here's Mayer on the last play of the first quarter. And it's incomplete, intended for Milo Hill. On the coverage, number 4, Edwards.
Yeah, good
and
coverage
that's the end of
by
the first
Edwards
quarter.
there. So at the end of the first quarter, it's a 6-6 tie here at historic Roosevelt Field. You look around, you have a nice crowd. Nice weather. Couldn't ask for better weather than this. Everyone looks happy to be here. And it's a good game so far. Quick-moving game.
You got a great atmosphere here tonight, and it's only going to get better as the season goes on. Hopefully the Eagles get off to a good start and attract some more excitement from the fans. But again, yeah, great turnout here tonight. Great day. Great way to open the season. Let's just see if we can get a win to top it off.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend, you wonder how many people are going to go down the shore, how many people are going to go away for the weekend. You really wonder how many people are coming out. But no complaints here among the Eagles faithful. Instead of going down Ocean City and paying $1,000 for parking. And then there's that boardwalk to contend with. It's so irritating. I don't like the sand. I'm just not a fan. Just come here. Come to historic Roosevelt Field. You don't have to spend $50 for tickets to go on Ferris wheels, any of that. It's so stressful. Just come here. Have a good time.
But really, it is a great atmosphere. I mean, for any of you watching at home, come out to as many games as possible and support.
You know who came out here to support us tonight? New Norristown Area High School principal, Dr. Rachel Holler. We have new vice principal coming from Stewart, Mr. Charles Brenner. Also have, looks like Mr. Gene Robbins is in attendance tonight, and everybody's down there having a good time, supporting the Eagles faithful.
This is a loose ball, and it's picked up by Tracy Presley, and he gets it out to about the 30. So right away, the Eagles end up with the ball.
That was officially the craziest thing I've ever seen. This side of having to pay $50 for Ferris wheel tickets, of course. Wow. Good break for the Eagles.
Oh, yeah, so instead of having to punt it away, they end up with just a short field to go before they score a touchdown. They'll be at the 30. That's an outstanding break for the Eagles.
No, it's not.
Apparently they're saying that play was already dead and that there was no fumble, so it will be Vikings ball, and they'll run it to the outside. There's a flag, so this one doesn't look like it'll count.
Looks like a hold there against Northeast.
Yeah, but on that last play, Tracy Presley picked up that ball, and by then the play was already dead, but I didn't hear any whistles. Neither did the Eagles, so they played through it, but apparently no fumble.
There was no whistle there, and really it's the responsibility of the referees to make sure that that play is blown dead when they've determined that it's an incomplete pass rather than a fumble.
So the holding penalty will back up the Vikings. It'll be 1st and 20.
Just 16 seconds gone by here in the second quarter. Already we have quite a bit of excitement.
You're watching NASD TV. I'm Mark Kolodinsky, along with Dave Fazzini. We'll be bringing you Norristown football all year long. Here is Stokes with 4 wide receivers. Drops back and now hands it off on a little bit of a draw play. And the gain is about 0 for number 22, Taylor.
I don't like those plays on 1st or 2nd and really long. I like a play like that on 1st and 10. Gain a couple yards, but you're not going to make it back. Defenses are keying in on that. It's almost become a cliche at this point that you run a draw when it's 1st and really long. Just throw the ball.
They gained 2, but with 2nd and 18 to go, that doesn't help them out too much. So I would have to agree with what you're saying. Here is Stokes in the shotgun. Takes the snap, drops back. He's going to go deep, and it's just out of the reach of the outstretched arms of number 17, Brindage. Roby was on the coverage, and Brindage had about a half a step, and Stokes almost put the ball right on his fingertips, but just missed them by inches.
Beautiful ball by Stokes there. Nice touch. He put it there. Brindage just didn't have the speed to catch up to it. Roby got lucky because he got beat on that play.
Yeah, he was only beat by, like I said, maybe a half a step. But I mean, when you have a quarterback like Stokes, that's too much.
Half a step, no good. He wouldn't have scored a touchdown. Roby's too fast for that. But that would have been a big gain, and that would have pulled Northeast out of some big-time difficulties.
Instead,
now,
it's 3rd and 18.
Now the Eagles can blitz him.
Stokes takes the shotgun snap. The Eagles only bring the line, and the Vikings will come up just short of the 1st down. They gain about 16 on the completion.
I hate those kind of plays where the receiver runs the route that doesn't get to the 1st down. 3rd and long, get to the marker. That's your primary objective. You still got to punt. They've got to punt here. To go for it is stupid.
Right. And the Eagles have already scored their 1 and only touchdown on the punt return, and now they're going to put Akeem Boyd on the sideline and just have Ant Denolfi back to receive the kick, and the Vikings will call timeout. That's their 2nd timeout, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they called timeout with good reason there, too, because they had 9 guys on the field, as if this were baseball.
Meanwhile, the Eagles got to figure out what they want to do on their return. Akeem Boyd initially started to go back, and as if to set up for that 2-man deep punt return formation, then ran off, and Sheldon Mayer was running on and off the field, so I think they did the Eagles a little bit of a favor, too.
Do you dare fake it here?
It would definitely be a bold move, but I wouldn't go near that. I mean, maybe if they were in a desperate situation, but what do you think?
You kick it away and play it straight. That's what you have to do. But with that 9 guys weirdness earlier, it makes me wonder exactly what they were thinking about.
It's a good
Why
point.
didn't they have the proper personnel on the field?
So here we go again. Antonolfi back for the return. Antonolfi, primarily a safety, but is dangerous with the ball in his hands, as we've seen on kickoffs last year, on punt returns this year.
The punter dropped to his knee there in order to field that snap.
That's
He
a turnover
is
on
down.
downs.
That's a turnover. That's a snap that you just can't. You got to get it back to him. That's long snapper in 101. Get it to the guy who's going to punt it.
And if you're the punter, you got to make sure that doesn't happen. I mean, do whatever you have to do to not allow that to happen, because now look at the Eagles' field position. They'll be at the Vikings 25. And I'll tell you, the Vikings giving them a great gift here. They got to take advantage of it.
It's Christmas in early September.
Evan Battaglia split out as a wide receiver. Mayer drops back, avoids some pass rushers, now throws into the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown by Milo Hill.
This kid can play.
That's for sure.
The Eagles, I don't want to speak too soon. And I don't want to say anything that might be construed as crazy. But the Eagles, after a long drought with the quarterback position, finding someone consistent who's going to get the ball downfield and who has the courage and fortitude to make throws like that, they have it in this kid, Shannon Mayer.
Yeah, that was an outstanding throw. And, I mean, Mayer's going to be here for the next 3 years, so that could be very promising for this program. The extra point, they were going to fake it, but there was some early movement, so it's not going to happen. But it sure looked like they were going to fake it.
I think that there should be a moratorium on extra points for the rest of this game, and we should just have it be 6, because we're not going to get it right. So let's just start fresh next week, and let's suspend the rules that makes this have to happen.
Well, let's see who's going to pay the 5 yards.
That was more akin to the running of the Bulls at Pamplona than anything resembling football.
So we'll try it again. Let's see. I can't think they're going to fake it again. Very low snap. It's picked up by Hillenbrand. He gets down to the 1, and the conversion is no good.
Ground ball to Rollins.
Man. I don't have anything to explain that.
Let's let silence explain it.
Well, on the bright side, the Eagles are up 12-6 now, with 9.5 minutes to go before halftime.
The bowling and bocce teams would be proud of these snaps so far for both teams.
And I'll tell you, Hillenbrand almost ran that one in for 2. Heads-up play by him to pick up the ball and start running, but came up a yard short.
Perhaps it was a designed play of sorts.
Who knows at this point?
Lawn sports, a Labor Day pastime. A tribute to Labor Day being played out through performance art here at historic Roosevelt Field.
(12-6) Norristown here on NESD TV. It's the opening game for the Eagles, hosting the Northeast Vikings. And again, off to a pretty good start so far this season. There's been some very ugly plays, but there's been some very pretty ones as well. And as a result, the Eagles are up by 6.
The agony and the ecstasy of the first game.
Here's Stewart with the kickoff. It'll be fielded right at the 20. Here's Taylor taking it to the outside. Still going up the sideline. There's a flag down. And he's finally taken down. But we'll see how much of this will stand because there is a flag.
Taylor is very swift, and the Eagles cannot allow him to break contain like that anymore. Oh, holding!
And that one's going to come all the way back.
How fortunate.
That is a heck of a break for the Eagles. And it'll be 10 yards from wherever the hold took place. So we'll see where that puts them.
Yeah, holding against Northeast, that's going to push him back quite a bit. Nice break for the Eagles.
They'll start the offense at about their own 33. So here comes Stokes, Taylor, and the rest of them trying to make something happen. Down by 6. They hand it off. And picking up about 2 or 3 is number 3, Hines.
So far, the Eagles' defensive line looks good here tonight. Larry Smith sees a member of my English class. He tells me, Mr. Varsity, we've christened ourselves the Bears. And I said, Larry, why did you do that? And he didn't have a reasonable explanation, at least not one that he was able to convey to me. But let's just go with it. The Bears. I guess because they maul people, or because of what, they're cuddly and soft. They're not cuddly and soft. They're vicious, violent animals. The Bears it is.
They each have a different subtitle: black bear, brown bear, panda bear. And here comes a gain of about 1 or 2, and the Vikings will have 3rd and about 4.
Battaglia runs that play down from behind, does a great job. Makes a play that really wasn't his. Nice play, Evan Battaglia, number 81.
I'll tell you, the Eagles look pretty good. It's just been a couple mistakes that have caused them to only be up by 6. It really could be a lot more, if you ask me.
Could be a lot more than that. That's exactly right, Mark.
Certainly could be at least 2 more.
Yep. One thing we haven't seen so far from the Eagles, a legitimate blitz, and I wonder if that's because of Stokes.
Malik Stokes drops back to throw. He's looking, he's in trouble, but he's going to run, and he's got the first down and a lot more. He goes out of bounds just shy of midfield.
And of course, just when I say no blitz, they bring both their backers on a delayed blitz. Stokes breaks contain and shows what he can do when you bring that extra pressure.
Yep, and that was probably accurate by you, saying they haven't blitzed because of Stokes. And you could see why right there.
In the pro game, a lot of times they're going to have a spy or two on particular players. I know a couple of years ago, Brian Westbrook, whenever he'd be out there for the Eagles, they would have a spy keying on him, making sure that he wasn't going to be able to do anything too dangerous. Might want to think about something like that for Stokes here tonight. Have somebody just keying on him, keeping him from breaking contain.
Man in motion, Stokes will hand it off to Hines. And he's finally hauled down, but not before a gain of about 6.
A little too much there on first down. Nice off-tackle play there by Hines. The Eagles' ends have to crash down a little bit more, put some pressure on that tackle, scrunch it down, and keep that from getting outside.
2nd and 5. Stokes with 3 wide receivers. And he's in the shotgun. The Eagles may be bringing blitz, and they do. And Stokes will keep it, and he got the first down. Stokes, once again, showing us what he could do with his legs.
A designed run by Stokes there. Nice play. This kid's the real deal. He's making some good plays. Number 48, Brent Golston, checks in for the Eagles. And that's going to bring number 80, Najee Harris, out of the game.
Yeah, this Vikings offense is dangerous, and once again putting together a really solid drive, but the Eagles defense need to limit the damage.
Pitch, there's Battaglio. Let's see if he gets him.
Good pursuit by the Eagles. They get a gain of about 3 on that.
Nice play by Dinalfi and Hill for making the tackle, but the reason that play was made, Evan Battaglio keeps contained, stretches it to the outside, allows the speed of Dinalfi and Hill to come up. Nicely done. That's textbook.
That's just the defense working together as a unit, and the Vikings will have second down.
Ultimately, it's the defensive line that their job is to absorb the heat. Their job is to keep the blockers off of the linebackers and the secondary. If they can do that, as it happened there, where Battaglio occupies 2 blockers, that's how it's done.
And he doesn't make the tackle, but I mean, it's him that created the
It's his play, even though he didn't make the tackle. Looks like there we had a penalty against Northeast. Going to push him back even more.
So it'll still be first down, but it will be 1st and 20.
1st and 20. I'm going to scream if a draw play comes on this.
4 wide receivers for Stokes, and just Taylor beside him in the backfield. He'll drop back to throw. And Milo Hill has an interception, and he breaks a tackle, and let's see what he can do on the return. Milo Hill already scoring on a receiving touchdown, and now brings this interception all the way back out into Vikings territory, and Milo Hill picks off the stud quarterback, Malik Stokes.
And you know what happens there? You see the quick Eagles transition from defense back to offense. Derek Williams gets out in front, throws a couple nice blocks for Milo Hill. Milo Hill, nice piece of running in the open field. The Eagles are so dangerous precisely because there's no different. They could score 6 on any given play. Offense, defense, special teams. Team speed, absolutely impressive. Great play, Milo Hill.
So they'll be at the Vikings 47 or 48. And Milo Hill, of course, I mentioned, already scored that 1 touchdown. And now making a huge play there. I don't know how he broke that initial tackle to get that return. Here's Mayer with a little pitch. Bounces it outside. He's at the 30. Makes another man miss, and he gets all the way down to the 25. Wow, Sheldon Mayer, what a run.
He is so much fun to watch. And, Mark, I have to say, you may not hear me say this too often, but you were exactly right. The last time we talked about Mayer breaking it up to the inside, and you said let him bounce it outside because the benefits of him doing that are there and manifest. And he does it there exactly as you said. He breaks it out, much bigger gain. Great job, Sheldon Mayer.
And those last 5 yards were the most impressive part of that run because he looked like he was trapped and it was just going to be a huge gain, but he added those 5 yards in, and it's very valuable. They hand it off here to Presley, and he picks up a nice chunk of yardage as well.
2 things on that play right there. Presley, nice piece of running, throws on a big hit, punishing the defender at the end. But Shannon Mayer, you don't know where he handed the ball. Dinalfi, a little bit of misdirection. Mayer does a good job keeping it. Very impressive for a sophomore, eliminating many of those mistakes that he made last year.
They had me fooled, and I'm all the way up here. Can imagine what it looks like for a defender. So the Eagles will go with 3 wide receivers now. Dinalfi split out right. And they'll hand it off to Presley, and he gets nothing.
That was a poorly executed handoff. Mayer telegraphed that one all the way, and it looked like Presley was a little slow coming up to take the ball from him. Not a fan of that one.
Yeah, that one never really got started. We got 5 minutes and 5 seconds to go before halftime, and it's 12-6 Eagles, but they're threatening to extend their lead inside the red zone now at the 18.
A very exciting, very fun game here. Very fast-paced at Roosevelt Field tonight.
Mayer hands off to Dinalfi. He breaks through the initial line, and he's all the way down to about the 4 or 5.
Their arsenal doesn't stop. Dinalfi coming out of the backfield, didn't get any carries last year. This year, it looks like they're really making a concerted effort to make him an important part of this offense, which they should. He's a weapon. He's got a lot of speed. I'm so impressed with the Eagles and the variety of weapons that they've shown so far tonight.
Yeah, their depth at the skill positions is just unparalleled. Marcus Harris comes into the game as a wide receiver. Mayer under center. He'll hand off to Sheldon Mayer, and he fights ahead for a hard-earned 2 yards, but the Eagles will now have 3rd and goal from the 3.
Now, do you try to punch it in with Mayer again, or do you perhaps give it to Presley and see what the fullback can do, and perhaps give a little thunder and lightning look, an approach to it?
I gotta go with Sheldon Mayer. I mean, perhaps even allow him to try and pick it up around the outside. Although that is very dangerous. With his speed, I think he can pull it off. Brent Golson is the fullback, and Sheldon Mayer is the halfback. They hand it off to Sheldon Mayer, up ahead, and he's in for the touchdown.
Well, Mark, second time in the drive, you were exactly right. Give it to Mayer, good lead blocking, textbook. Again, nice execution for the Eagles. A major difference between this and last year. The execution and the mathematical precision, they get the job done. They know what they're doing, and they're disciplined.
And it's 18-6 now Eagles, and they're done kicking extra points, it looks like. They're going to go for 2.
They're going to go for 2. That's what I said.
It's about time.
They should just stop trying and pick it up next week after some rigorous practice in the area.
So Presley and Sheldon Mayer in the backfield. Shannon Mayer has 2 wide receivers to his right. He drops back to throw. Throws for the end zone, and he overthrew his brother Sheldon, and the conversion is no good. So the teams combined 0 for 4 on point after attempts today.
That is a dreadful, when you put it in such stark, realistic terms, like 0 for 4 on extra point attempts combined. That sounds so bad.
And only one of them was attempt for 2. The sun beginning to set here at Norristown.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful night, really is.
Beautiful night, beautiful sunset here.
Well, 3.5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and it's 18-6 Eagles in their opener. And high expectations, as we mentioned at the top, and so far so good, I would have to say.
The Eagles have set very high expectations for themselves. They've had high expectations set for them by many of the newspapers in the area, and it looks like this is the year that they could possibly live up to some of those lofty expectations. So far so good at Norristown.
Marcus Stewart, the kickoff specialist, boots it off, and it's muffed and now picked up. Now a seam to the outside, and finally taken out of bounds right at the 30-yard line. Number 2, Harmon, on the return, and despite the little muff, gets out to the 30.
Number 27, Brandon Shippen, does something that you can't really kill him for as a sophomore. He's aggressive. He went for the ball, but didn't keep contained. His job is to keep contained and keep Harris from breaking it to the outside. Harris was able to get a little bit more than he should have because no contain on there.
Well, Malik Stokes not exactly off to a good start. He's thrown an interception. His team's down by 12. And he's made a couple good throws. But, I mean, he hasn't looked like some kind of an unstoppable stud to this point.
No. And it looks like there was another penalty on the return, another hold against Northeast, the gang who couldn't shoot straight. This is unbelievable. They haven't had a special teams play without a major mistake like this.
And for once, it's the Eagles not on the short end of the stick when it comes to penalties. Here's the handoff to Taylor, and he's bottled up.
Deplorable play choice.
He's going to lose one. 2nd and 11.
It feels good to be right about that draw. Remember what I said? Ban 2 plays. Mark, you get rid of 2 plays. You get rid of the wide receiver screen, and you get rid of the draw. Perfection. At least the draw on 1st and 20.
The Vikings come up to the line once again. Malik Stokes with 2 backs beside him and 3 wide receivers. Takes the shotgun snap. Winding up and now unleashing it and completing it. They've got a gain of about 13 and a 1st down.
Very nice throw out to flat by Stokes there, showing that good arm. Nice flat trajectory. Makes a nice throw. Good job.
Under a little bit of duress, too, and still able to get off a beautiful-looking ball.
Yeah, and it shows that he doesn't just run when he's under pressure, too, but he can also make those quick decisions and throw it, showing why he's such a highly touted recruit.
Now under center with 4 wide receivers. There's a flag on the play, and that ball was thrown behind number 17. That is Brindage.
Look at that size matchup. If you see that again, Mayer on Brindage, he's given up 4 or 5 inches to Brindage on the outside. So the Eagles are really going to have to hope that Mayer's speed can compensate for that, because the height, as you saw earlier, the height is a huge difference.
So 2 minutes and 14 seconds to go. The Eagles up by a dozen. It's 18 to 6. 2nd and 10. Once again in the shotgun is Stokes. He takes the snap, drops back to throw, and they try to set up a screen, and they couldn't get the pass to Taylor.
Nope, couldn't get the pass there. Not a really well executed screen. Didn't really seem to have the blockers out in front of him. But Norristown doesn't do a good job of recognizing that either. Typically when the linemen let you go, you know it's a screen. So just hang back. Send 1 or 2 guys after Stokes. Try to force him into a mistake, but get back in the pass coverage because you know where it's going. But no harm, no foul. 3rd and 10.
The Vikings offense has been very quiet. That's definitely a testament to the Eagles D. Here's Stokes looking for somewhere to throw. He's going to launch a deep ball in great coverage. And boy, Sheldon Mayer was on him like glue, and he made the throw anyway.
That's what we talked about the coverage, the size difference, but the speed making up for it. Mayer was all over him, but still Stokes threw that ball. Stokes has the arm, but Mayer has the coverage.
Yeah, wow, that was outstanding coverage. And now it'll be Boyd and Denolfi back to field the punt again. Again, the weapons, they're everywhere. Here's the kick. It's a good one. Fair catch called for by Boyd, and he makes it. 2 minutes to go. No 2-minute warning in high school football, but we are at the 2-minute mark now, and it's, again, the Eagles with a 12-point lead.
Good decision by Boyd there. Doesn't force anything. There was some coverage in his face. Last thing you want is a guy to get a quick hit and make a fumble. Good job by Boyd.
And now let's see how Shannon Mayer can handle this 2-minute offense as the Eagles try and increase their lead before halftime. Let's see if they really try to take some shots or if they take more of a conservative approach.
If I'm the Eagles, I want some more points. I want to go deep.
I agree.
They've got 4 wide. I think they're going to be throwing on this drive.
Sure looks like it. Mayer hands off to Presley. And Presley gets about 11. Impressive power running there.
The Eagles, I think, have found their fullback.
Yeah, he's a great compliment to Mayer because they have such different skill sets. Mayer, the speed, agile, quick runner, and Presley, more of a powerful break tackle kind of a guy.
The inconsistency at that position for the last 2 seasons, really, I think, led the Eagles to some uncertainty about exactly what they wanted that position to be. But like you said, nice compliment.
Once again, Presley in the backfield because Mayer is in the slot. And Mayer drops back to throw. Throws short and complete over there for Anthony Dinolfi, and that's a gain of about 5 or 6.
Nice play. Good job. Mayer to Dinolfi.
The clock is running. We're at 1:17 now. And the Eagles trying to pick up the pace here. They do a good job of getting back to the line and getting that play off quickly. Deep ball for Roby. He's got it. Roby into the end zone for a touchdown, and everything's working for the Eagles.
Wow.
What a pretty throw, too.
A great throw. Nice touch. The Shannon Mayer of last year's not making that throw. He's overthrowing Roby, but this year there's some finesse on it. I really, really like this kid, and I think that he is going to be something special.
Everything about that play was just beautiful. Great throw. Hit Roby in stride. Didn't really have to slow down at all. And, of course, when that happens with Anthony Roby, it's pretty much a touchdown.
How about
Guaranteed.
how wide open he was?
Yeah, the separation that he could get with that speed we talked about is just unbelievable.
I agree with the Eagles calling a timeout here.
Well, they lined up as if to kick an extra point. Of course, if you're just joining us, they've had some serious struggles kicking extra points in their first 2 attempts. So on their 3rd attempt, went for 2, failed. And now it looks like they're going to try to kick it, but now they call a timeout. That's their 2nd timeout spent on extra points, and they haven't even made any.
The footballs are out here tonight. Cheerleaders throwing them up in the stands, and it looks like everybody is going absolutely insane for the prospect of this prized souvenir. And with good reason. I mean, they're leather-bound and limited edition.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the Eagles do on the extra point, but really that's the story is the Eagles having a 24-6 lead. Shannon Mayers looked great. Sheldon Mayers looked great. Anthony Roby has a touchdown. Milo Hill with the touchdown catch and the interception. What else could go right?
How could you be anything but thoroughly impressed with the Norristown Eagles
It's
tonight?
exciting. It's exciting to think about what they can do.
And I like your use of the word interesting as opposed to like good or expert or polished to describe the extra point attempt.
This one's up, and it is good.
Oh, my stars! That is truly different. Unbelievable!
25-6 Eagles.
It's time for the cheerleaders to do their push-ups, and it's time for the Eagles faithful to celebrate here because this is a real great coming out party there for Shannon Mayer, and he's doing an excellent job.
So we've had 5 touchdowns here today, and that's the first extra point made. 1:05 to go, so the Eagles, not only were they able to score on that 2-minute drive, they would have been able to do that had they only had 1 minute. However, unfortunate part about that is you give Stokes a little bit of time to make something happen. But with 1:05 left and the way the Eagles' defense has been playing, I wouldn't be too worried about that. In fact, I don't even know if the Vikings, how many shots they'll take.
Mark, you know we spent so much time talking about the impressive offense, and rightly so, but we haven't spent enough time talking about the great job this defense has done.
It's true.
After some early miscues and some mistakes, this defense has clamped down, and not only have they not allowed any more points, they're not allowing any yards.
Yeah, they're really not. It seems like they've just been getting better and better as the game goes on. Like, the first drive was derailed by a penalty, the Vikings' offensive drive, that is, and then they had the turnover, the interception by Milo Hill. But now they're just not allowing even a little bit of a drive to get started, and this kickoff is out of bounds.
You don't want that. Not with a quarterback like Stokes. You don't want to give him any benefits, any freebies.
No way. Now it's going to tempt the Vikings coaches to probably try and make up some of this deficit before halftime because they're going to have good field position.
All right, so with 1:05 here left in the half, it's the Eagles with a commanding 25-6 lead, but it's no time to slack and let the Vikings back in the game. It's definitely no time to allow Malik Stokes to get his groove on.
Yeah, they cannot grow complacent no matter what they do. I mean, it's easy for us to sit up here in the booth and say, oh, this looks great. But down on the field, they've got to have a mentality that it's 0-0, so to speak, because the last thing you need is for this to go down the tubes and, end up in some kind of a close finish.
Mark, that's a really good point, because a flaw for the Eagles last year was letting teams back in the game, sometimes even losing those games that they were winning in the first half. They have to be good closers.
Here's Stokes. He's going to throw it. Good pass rush, and the pass is dropped. That was right in the hands of number 17, Brindage, but he dropped it.
The right tackle on that play jumped, but I guess still an incomplete pass.
And Brent Golson, with the great pass rush there, putting some serious pressure on Stokes, who still made a good throw.
Good throw, pressure from the blind side. That's something that's every quarterback's nightmare, being blindsided, because even with your escapability does you no good if you can't see who's coming.
2nd and 10 with 61 seconds to go. Here's Stokes. A little swing pass, and that's dropped.
Larry Smith had something to do with the fact that pass was dropped. That guy wanted no part of that catch.
And, man, like you mentioned it just a couple seconds ago, the Eagles' defense allowing nothing.
Extremely parsimonious here tonight at historic Roosevelt Field. A good SAT word for those of you keeping score at home.
Stokes in a shotgun with 4 wide receivers. On 3rd down, Stokes drops back, throws over the middle, and it's knocked away. Great play by number 27, Brandon Shippen.
Shippen makes up for that blown coverage on the kickoff with that great play there. This is a different phenomenon for me, seeing the defensive backs play heads-up ball. Too often they just rely on, there's a little over-reliance on their athleticism and not enough on the fundamentals. This is like the perfect confluence of fundamental play and athletic, just solid defense. I'm impressed.
And now not only are the Vikings not able to cut into the lead before halftime, now they have to contend with Dinolfi and now Sheldon Mayer, who they put back there for the first time tonight. And they'll just let it go. A little bit of a miscommunication maybe between Mayer and Dinolfi, but really there wasn't anything there, and there's no reason to take any risks in a situation like this.
Mark, I got to tell you, in the spirit of taking risks, I let Shannon Mayer go for it here with 43 seconds. I don't play it safe. I want more points before halftime. I'm greedy. I want more.
Well, although I agree with you, I don't think that that's what they'll do, although I do hope that they do. Because I feel like if you have Ant Roby and Shannon Mayer, you got a big arm and a lot of speed, and that's all you need to score a touchdown. I don't care if you have 6 seconds, you can score a touchdown.
Backs are in the eyes, so it doesn't look like our dreams are going to.
Nah, I didn't think they would. Didn't think they would. It'll be a handoff to Sheldon Mayer. Although you never know, he could break one at any time too, but certainly a conservative approach.
Well, looks like the Eagles will be content to go into halftime with a 25-6 lead.
I'm certainly content with it.
I can't blame them. Flawless execution just about in 2 of the 3 aspects of the game. Certainly special teams has been anything but flawless, and certainly, just wretched.
Although they did score on the
score.
Anthony Dinolfi punt return, but the coverage and the kicking has been atrocious.
Yeah.
4 seconds left to go in the half. That'll be the last play. That'll wrap up the first half. And once again, 25-6 Eagles. And, boy, where do you start with all the things that went right for the Eagles?
You start with the great offensive play and the phenomenal defense. And we'll be back with full halftime stats coming at you quick. But, Mark, an impressive effort by the Eagles here. So as we go into the halftime show, 25-6 Eagles. Great night at Roosevelt.
Welcome back to Roosevelt Field, everybody. I'm Mark Hodinski, along with Dave Fazzini, and you're watching Norristown football at its best. The Eagles got out to a 25-6 lead going into the locker room, led by several players. Shannon Mayer looked outstanding. Sheldon Mayer was his usual self. Anthony Roby caught a long touchdown, and Milo Hill had the other touchdown and also chipped in with an interception. And, of course, Anthony Dinolfi with the 90-yard punt return. So everything clicking.
Offensively, spreading it around, Mark, as you said. A lot of people getting involved. And also, very impressively, this Norristown defense. I can't say enough about the job that they've done in the first half. A couple mistakes, but, Mark, how can you say that this defense looks anything less than spectacular?
You certainly can't, and it's even more impressive when you consider that Northeast features Malik Stokes, the star quarterback, and to shut down an offense with him in it. Of course, we mentioned at the top he's a D1 prospect being recruited by many big football programs, and they've silenced him and the rest of his offense, and you know it's impressive without even thinking about that. And then when you add that in, just outstanding.
And the Eagles have come up real big in the past against real key players. Last year, remember the Upper Dublin game where they shut down Offensive Player of the Year Josh Mastromato. Norristown has that fighter in them that steps up to the challenge when they're faced with really stud players. Let's see if they can sustain that and not just keep Stokes from bringing this team back this week, but also when they're up against teams that don't have that one guy, let's see how their defense does then. But for tonight, I am thoroughly impressed with the Eagles.
And for as much success as they had, there's still 24 minutes of football to play, an entire half. And, I mean, the lead is 19, so there's still some work to be done. And the Eagles, really, they just need to keep up what they've been doing and avoid some kind of an epic collapse.
A key to doing that. Last year, we talked in the first half about one of the things Norristown was susceptible to was getting complacent. They let teams back into games that had no right playing with them and consequently lost a few games. What they need to do, keep that from happening. Pedal to the metal, more Shannon Mayer, more big throws, run the ball, keep that defense playing expert football.
Yeah, they can't forget how they got here and start playing conservative. They need to continue to do the things that they've been doing, and they should get their first win of the year in their first game, and that would definitely be a huge confidence builder and a great way to start the season.
And Norristown will be getting the ball, so it'll be very exciting to see how we start off this second half.
Yep, so we'll be right back for the second half action. Don't go anywhere. And we're off, and the Eagles field the kickoff. It's a short one. And here's Derek Williams running over a Viking, and now getting all the way out past midfield and into Vikings territory. Good return by Williams.
Nice run by Derek Williams there, breaking some tackles. He's not typically a return threat for the Eagles, but as we talked about before, spreading the wealth, getting people involved who aren't ordinarily, and keeping Northeast off balance.
At the Vikings 46 is where the Eagles will set it up. And, of course, something that's underrated in everything that's happened is the performance of the offensive line. We talked about the defensive line. Well, many of those same players are part of the offensive line that's been doing a great job. Very unheralded, of course, but here's Sheldon Mayer busting through the line, and he lost the ball. It's recovered, though, by Milo Hill. Wow, that was fortunate.
Much like the faithful friend Wiglaf, who accompanied Beowulf to his last final voyage, the battle against the dragon, the faithful Milo Hill was there to help his trusted fellow Thane in a time when men were men.
Wow, Sheldon Mayer had such a big crease there, and he only had one more man to beat, really. And you go from thinking, wow, this is going to be a huge run, to, wow, this might be a turnover. So that's fortunate that they're able to keep it.
Very fortunate. But penalty. Clock keeps running. It's going to be first and about 16 for the Eagles.
Yeah, but of course, if Milo Hill doesn't recover that fumble, the Vikings decline it and they have the ball. So
yep.
Still huge, but now it's first and 19. Here's Dinolfi on the handoff, trying to get outside. Does he have enough speed? Not a bad game.
He does get to the outside, not bad. Mitigates some of that damage that was done on as a result of the penalty. So he gets outside and gets a few back.
So they'll give him about 6, I guess, which would make it 2nd and 13.
I really like Anthony Dinolfi being used as an option in this offense. Last year he was strictly relegated to special teams play, but they're branching out. They're doing some things that I didn't expect.
And Dinolfi also on defense as a safety makes some plays. Shannon Mayer under center with 2 wide receivers and 2 in the backfield. Hands it off to Dinolfi once again. And he plows ahead, still going. And he gets about 10.
This kid can make people miss, but he also has some power.
He does.
He lowered his head, and he's running into people. His big brother be proud. Be very proud of what's going on that Anthony Dinolfi's doing here tonight.
So Sheldon Mayer returns to the field after that short break in which Dinolfi was very productive and takes over as the halfback. 3rd and 3. Here's Mayer. Giving it off to Sheldon Mayer. Sheldon Mayer spinning out of it. There was nothing there, so he had to try to go outside. And he can only stay along for so long before he's swallowed up, and it'll be 4th and about 3 or 4. They'll have to punt.
But he manages to make even getting no yards look pretty. He looked really good on there. He went far. He didn't get much, but still. He made some people miss.
Yeah, he went up the middle, and there was absolutely nothing there. So, I mean, you can't fault him for bouncing it out. That's all he could do, even though it was pretty futile. Well, I guess they won't have to punt. And they're going to go for it. It's 4th and 3. Well, they're keeping the pedal to the metal, that's for sure. I guess it's a little bit too close to the end zone to punt. Certainly not going to kick a field goal from here, so they'll go for it. They hand it off to Presley, and he doesn't get it.
One of the benefits of being up by 19 is that they're not going to hear us slam them for going for it on 4th down when they're at the 40-yard line. Not that I think they were particularly poleaxed with fear at the thought of us doing that, but they did what they had to do. They didn't make it. It didn't work out. 9:50 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Still up by 19, and the defense is still playing well.
Yeah, I mean, if you punt and you end up with a touchback, I mean, you're at the 20, so I mean, it's kind of a low risk attempt.
You got to go. You got to go for it. Give it some attempts. Being up by 19. Now the defense has to hold here.
Can't give him any momentum. The shotgun snap's taken by Stokes, hands off to Taylor, and he gets about 4.
I'm surprised the Northeast offenses look so lethargic. Except for a few big plays by Stokes and a few nice throws on his part, they're really doing nothing that emphasizes his athleticism. They're just handing it off up the middle, a couple draw plays, 3 and 4 yards, not breaking anything to the outside, not really a threat, not a big play at all.
Yeah, just that one touchdown pass to the corner of the end zones. That's really the only play that stands out to me that the Vikings had that really impressed me. And, I mean, this is supposed to be a quarterback that's supposed to blow people away. And now they'll hand off up the seam and now all the way down to the 40-yard line of the Eagles, a gain of about 20.
Nice run there. He had some blocking right off tackle. Good seam. Blew the Eagles defenders off the ball, and they were back on their heels. Good run by Northeast.
Well, the Eagles' defense not as stifling as it's been on the past couple of drives, but still, the Vikings have a ways to go before they get into immediate scoring possession.
Akeem Boyd coming in for Sheldon Mayer, who goes out, get a little much-deserved rest.
They hand it off to Taylor. He goes nowhere, swallowed up by the line. Among others, Andre Allen there to flatten them.
Run defense is a source of pride for defensive linemen. Sure, the big stat for a D lineman is the sack, but where you really make your mark as a defensive line is shutting down the run. That's what you like to do. You like to charge in there, make big hits, and punish running backs.
Well, Sheldon Mayer's still sitting on that bench, and I mean, when you got a guy like Sheldon Mayer who plays cornerback, halfback, and he carries not only the load among the running backs, but among the entire offense. Then they also use him on special teams from time to time. I mean, it's good to see them conserving him in some ways whenever they can. Here's a throw out along the sideline. They'll pick up about 10 before they bring him down, and a nice little completion there for Stokes.
Boyd and Williams on the coverage there on the outside. Looks like we have a man down, and that man down appears to be number 81, tight end and star Evan Battaglio. And here comes Dennis Flynn, the trainer, and Dr. John Nebulis, the team doctor, to see what's going on. Coach E.J. Smith's out there as well.
Yeah, you never like to see injuries, and especially not to a player with the stature of Battaglio. So we'll hope he's all right. Game has been injury-free up until this point, too.
Battaglio's sitting up, and you wonder what's going on. It looked like his leg was hurting him, but you wonder what's happening.
It's tough to tell.
Tough to tell.
Evan Battaglio is such a important cog to both the offense and the defense. Now he gets up, and let's see if he can walk off on his own power. It sure looks like it. He'll jog off. He's all right.
Battaglio jogs off, looks good. They're going to take a look at him over on the bench, but this is a good sign. He's pointing to his left knee, so I think maybe he got a little caught up, twisted. They're going to take a look at him over on the bench.
Well, meanwhile, that completion just moments ago came about a yard shy of the first down, so it'll be 3rd and 1.
Just watching over there, putting Battaglio through a couple of different exercises to assess whether he's strength, whether he can push off, whether he can go back in. He's jogging back and forth, so I expect to see Evan Battaglio back in this game.
I've been watching Sheldon Mayer on the sideline, too, and he's like doing some stretches right now. And he's been walking around a little bit, pacing around, doing some light jogging. And now I think Dennis Flynn is over there, or Brian Kennedy, one of the coaches, talking to him, so hopefully everything's all right there.
Yeah, Flynn's currently looking at Sheldon Mayer, too. Those would be 2 big injuries for the Eagles here. We certainly don't want to see that.
Well, they look to have picked up the first down. It could be close, though, but they look to have it. And I don't know, Sheldon Mayer, unlike Battaglio, didn't collapse on the field or anything like that. It was really quiet. I thought he was just getting a breather, but...
Yeah, he jogged off and Boyd came back on. I didn't think it was any special
No one really
problem.
thought anything of it. I mean, they're going to give him breaks from time to time because, as we said, he's Mr. Everything for this team. But I don't know. It sure looks like more than a breather.
Yeah, because you really don't want Sheldon Mayer off the field for all that much, even giving him a breather. You want him on the field. He's your best player, so we'll see.
Here's the handoff. And with a gain of a couple, they'll have 2nd and 6 or 7.
Mark, I'm completely perplexed by the offensive strategy of Northeast. I don't know what they're trying to do. They're running a lot out of the shotgun, which makes you think they'd want to get Stokes more involved with improvisational stuff. But yet the thing they're going to, their go-to move is this dive right up the middle. I don't get it. And it's not productive.
Yeah, especially now that they're down by 19. I mean, you'd think that if ever, they're going to unleash him now. And they just haven't. So, I don't know. I have to agree with you 100%. Here's Stokes throwing, and it is incomplete. In and out of the intended receiver's hands.
Nice play by Boyd.
Yes. That'll bring up 3rd and 8.
You think of how many quarterbacks are being recruited and being groomed. Do you think of how many really good high school quarterbacks there are in the country? Then you think that Malik Stokes is the number 50 quarterback in the country out of so many. To have such an elite quarterback playing in this area, being so heavily recruited by top-notch Division I teams, and you really then have to be impressed with the defensive backfield of Norristown.
Yeah, that's a great point. And here's Stokes Dropping back to throw. Zinging it over the middle, and it's deflected away by Milo Hill, I believe, was the man who got a hand on it. And the Eagles continue to shut down Malik Stokes and the Vikings' non-existent passing attack.
Hands up, good defensive play. Great point, Mark. This is a non-existent passing offense. And what do you do here? You really do have to go for it. I'm certainly not kicking a field goal. If they can't make extra points, they're not kicking a 45-yarder. So
right.
What do you do?
And being down by as much as they are, that's also another factor. But I'll tell you, Shannon Mayer has outperformed Malik Stokes, and who would have thought that coming in? And if someone told me that was going to happen, I mean, there would be no doubt in my mind that the Eagles would have a big lead. If they can win that battle, they're in great shape. Here's Stokes dropping back on 4th down. Throwing to the left, and a diving deflection by one of the Eagles, but it was far away from its intended target anyway, so turnover on downs, and the Eagles' defense just adds to its impressive night.
That's number 2, Ant Roby, again, almost with another pick. That's one of the things I really want to see before the end. I don't know if it'll be before the end of this game, but I want to see it soon. I want to see Roby get one of those picks, and I want to see him take it to the house.
I have no doubts that you'll be able to see it several times. Of course, Ant Roby headed to Temple after this season to play college football there as a cornerback. 6 minutes and 5 seconds left to go in the third quarter. It's still 25-6 Eagles, and Shannon Mayer hands off to Sheldon Mayer. And Sheldon Mayer gets a short first down gain.
I wonder if they're using Sheldon Mayer a little bit differently than they did last year. Last year, Sheldon Mayer was getting more runs off tackle. This year, he's doing stuff between the tackles. So they're really trying to focus on having him get the sensibility that he's more of an every down full tailback, as opposed to more of a specialty artist like they used him last year. He racked up tons of yards, but this year he's getting more carries between the tackles. Be interesting to see if they continue with that.
He's frustrated now, too, and he ran off the field slightly awkwardly, and now they'll hand it off to Dinolfi, who appears to be the number 2 guy. And he gets another small gain, but Mayer was back on the field for that play, obviously. Then came running off, like I said, a little bit awkwardly. And then he showed some frustration on the bench, and now he's sitting back down.
And Shippen is in, and Mayer is not. Sheldon Mayer is off the field now, and I wonder if he's maybe a little bit hurt.
I have no doubts that he is, and if I'm the coaches, as a precautionary measure, he's going to be done for the game for me, because they have this game in hand anyway, and you can't risk anything with him. I mean, he's such a huge part of this team. Of course, if he doesn't come back today, as we have some movement early before the snap, if he doesn't come back, it's going to raise some serious concern over the next week, but I think it's worth it.
Well, this week the Eagles, of course, have Northeast, and next week they're playing Benjamin Franklin at the kind of a breakfast game. It looks like we're going to have brunch here at historic Roosevelt Field. So one wonders between these two games whether or not they're going to need Sheldon Mayer to be an integral part of the offense. Obviously, you want him on the field, but Ben Franklin's not exactly noted for their gridiron prowess, shall we say. But resting Mayer before it gets time for big ticket league play, I don't know. I don't know how he's doing down there.
At least for this game, I would have to say.
Yeah.
At least. Now they got 4 wide receivers. Here's Mayer looking to throw, avoiding the pass rush, throwing on the run, and tough throw. Roby out of bounds. And he didn't make the catch anyway, but almost an acrobatic one-handed catch, but incomplete.
You know, other Eagles quarterbacks in the past tuck that down and they run with it. Mayer looks to throw first, showing a remarkable sophistication for somebody who's only a sophomore. And it doesn't get picked. He's not in trouble. He's unflappable. He throws on the run, still has a strong arm, and has faith in his receivers downfield to make plays.
Yeah, and we've seen that kind of speed from many past Norristown quarterbacks. But like you said, he keeps his eyes up the field and doesn't lose sight of his receivers. And that was a very tough throw, and it actually wasn't all that poor. This punt's fielded at the 34. Trying to go outside is number 4 for the Vikings. He gets all the way outside. And Edwards was the return man and got a nice chunk of yardage.
Not very good coverage there at all. Again,
No.
the Eagles let Eagles break contain on the outside. So you got to do a better job than that because they're giving Stokes a short field to work with.
Well, we've played 8 minutes in this half. We have yet to see a score. It's still 25-6 Eagles. I'm Mark Holodinsky, along with Dave Fazzini. We're bringing you Norristown football here tonight. It's the opening game of the 09 season, and we will be bringing you the action all year.
A somewhat loud and spirited crowd here tonight. Very, very loud. They seem very enthusiastic about their gridiron heroes. So hopefully that will continue.
It's a beautiful night for football, especially when you're winning 25-6. So the Vikings will try to chip into this Norristown lead, but they got a ways to go. But with a guy like Stokes, maybe he could get it going and they could get back into this game. But I don't know. The way it's looked so far, maybe that's doubtful.
What I do if I'm Northeast to get it going with Stokes is I give him a few designed run plays to get him out in open space where he could do some damage and really exploit that speed. And also keeps the Eagles defender off balance. The Eagles defenders right now have no respect, nor do I think they should, for Stokes. What I do as Northeast is I give them some room to operate and let them improvise.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done more of that to this point. So we'll see if they take your advice. They hand it off inside, and they got a big gain up the middle. First down and about another additional 9 yards.
Edwards, nice run there. Good job. Stokes doesn't telegraph the handoff, hands it off inside. Nice run, big play.
And just like that, the Vikings are at the Eagles 25 and knocking on the door a little bit.
I love that shotgun.
Stokes with 4 wide receivers takes the shotgun snap and hands it off once again to Taylor. Taylor up the middle, fighting, running through people, and getting a hard-earned 7 or 8 yards. Wow, that was power running at its best.
Power running right there off that shotgun dive play. Nicely executed. You wonder, though, why they run out of that formation, but here's another injury for the Norristown Eagles, and this looks like it's number 89, Larry Smith. He looks down, and Dr. Nebulous is tending to him along with Flynn, and then here comes Coach E.J. Smith.
And this is the third Eagle that's some injury questions have arisen about. And that's not what you need, especially with a pretty comfortable lead like this. It's just, I mean, you don't have a big enough lead, nor is it late enough in the game to start taking guys out.
Yeah.
But, you're right in that area, and that's why it's such a pain to see these guys like this.
And that's a great point because this is a weird part of the game. You're not up by enough to start putting in subs. But you are up. So what do? I mean, you're up by, you have a commanding lead. You have a 3 touchdown, well, not exactly 3 touchdowns, but in this game it's 3 touchdowns plus. You have a 3 touchdown lead. What do you do?
Yeah, they're doing the right thing, but unfortunately the injury bug has bitten. Sheldon Mayer running around on the sideline as well. Another developing story that we're trying to keep an eye on. Larry's, it's actually...
That's 65, big Marcus Robbins.
Yeah. And he's going to walk off under his own power.
All right, he's jogging, everybody's up, and Marcus is going to be, they're going to take a look at Marcus over on the sideline.
Well, 2nd and 4 for the Vikings. They wind the clock. And the Vikings are at the 25 of the Eagles, looking to cut into this lead. But I'll tell you, 1 touchdown and a stop, and they might be back in this thing. They give it to Taylor, and he stood up by numerous Eagles and is right at the marker. Let's see if he has enough for the first down.
Why do you run out of that formation so much? you're basically using the shotgun as your primary running formation. You're not running out of the I. They had the I formation a couple times. We saw it early in the game. But really, they've been running a lot out of that single back shotgun. And sometimes double.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a lot more effective, I think, if their passing attack was successful. Because then they'd be so concerned with that, then they could, come out in a passing formation and do some of that stuff. But without the passing attack, it's kind of, it just doesn't work.
Without the passing component, yeah.
And even then, I don't think it's the best option, but they'll go straight ahead to try to pick up the first down on a quarterback sneak, and they got it easily. Two and a half minutes to go in the third quarter, and the Eagles still up by 19, but the Vikings are threatening.
Mark, we mentioned this before about the lack of urgency for Northeast, with time starting to become somewhat of a factor. I mean, you still have the entire fourth quarter and 2 minutes left in the third, but don't you think you start to up the ante a little bit as far as urgency? Don't you want to score and get in the end zone just to show that you still can?
Yeah, but yet they still take their time and running the ball up the middle, even with a great quarterback and a big deficit. You'd think that that's a passing situation. Here they pass it, and it's incomplete, and it's Brandon Shippen knocking it down. He wasn't all that far away from having an interception.
He's having a good game too, Shippen. Other than that one miscue on special teams, he's really come back in a big way.
He's done a great job. Although then again, for the Eagles, who hasn't? I mean, everyone contributing.
The snappers, perhaps. The kicking teams have had a rough day.
Yes, that's a great point. Well, the lineup in the shotgun once again. Stokes ready to receive the snap. Hands it off inside. Oh, he keeps it. He sold that beautifully and got into the end zone for 6.
That's what you do with him. You let him run his offense his way. The difference between a good coach and a bad coach is not all that. It's a stark and clear difference. A good coach will tailor his offense based on the talent he has. A bad coach will try to shoehorn his talent, regardless of their skill sets, into a particular foreordained kind of system. It seems like Northeast may be waking up at how to use Stokes.
Extra points have been interesting. This one's up and no good. He missed it wide right by inches. And that could be big. We'll see. As it's now 25-12 Eagles with 2 minutes and 4 seconds left. And, that touchdown play makes me wonder why they haven't been doing more of that. We saw it, I don't know, maybe once or twice before that point.
Once or twice, something like that. It's obvious that really there aren't too many people who could stop Brandon Stokes, or Malik Stokes, sorry. The way you stop Malik Stokes is to have your own coaching staff do that to him. You shut him down willfully by not using him to his full advantage.
But that is his second touchdown of the day, one running, one throwing. He has thrown a pick as well, and honestly, it hasn't been all that good of a night for him. It's been pretty bad, especially with the expectations he has going into the season for himself. And we keep saying it over and over again. That's a great sign for the Eagles' defense. And then meanwhile, the offense has put up 25 points, and when you combine those elements, this is what you get.
And there's a difference between having the high expectations and then living up to them. There are many teams who would rather not have that high expectation on them and then play the underdog, show people that they are legitimate rather than having legitimacy foisted onto them by newspapers and stuff like that.
I believe that's Shippen and Boyd back deep, ready to receive the kick. It's not a very deep kick. Derek Williams is under it, drops it, picks it up. Had a good return a couple plays ago. And he gets this one all the way up. Oh, well, now the Vikings contend that there's a loose ball. And they have it.
Now, I don't know. It looked like Williams was down, but that ball may very well have come out before. But it looked to me from up here, Mark, that Williams was down.
Wow.
And suddenly things have gotten a whole lot more interesting
That's
here
for
at
sure.
historic Roosevelt Field.
That is for sure.
I thought Williams was down. It looked up here to everyone in the booth like he was down, but the refs saw it differently. They're the ones down on the field, and
Right,
it's
yeah,
Malik Stokes' ball.
It's difficult to tell up here exactly when the ball came out or when it started to get loose and when he didn't have possession, but it was a good return, but, I mean, the fumble just completely kills it, and now they'll run it up the middle and get 10 yards with number 3, Hines. Costly turnover, and now the Eagles have to just forget about it and start playing the football that they've been playing that got them to where they are.
That shotgun snap is coming back a bit quicker from the center to Stokes, so he's able to make some more quick decisions with the ball without having pressure in his face and without having Eagles defenders blowing that up. So that's something there that's an interesting development. I wonder what they said to the snapper after a couple deplorable snaps in the first half to get him back in his game.
2nd and 4. They'll hand it off once again to Hines. He's got the first down to the outside and finally knocked out of bounds, but not before he gains a nice chunk of yardage, and the Vikings are maybe starting their comeback.
I hope this isn't indicative of what's going to happen here in the second half. Norristown unable to put any more points on the board, and Northeast being able to mount a ferocious challenge, even a comeback. We were talking before about their lack of urgency, but you don't need urgency if you're going to get turnovers like that on the kicking game. You can take your time. With 1:04 here to go in the quarter, who knows?
The Eagles need a big play. They need like an interception or something. And here they stuff the runner for 0 yards because all they need is to get one turnover on defense or one big breakaway play on offense, and all of a sudden all this momentum's wiped out and the Eagles once again are in the driver's seat. But right now it's just kind of scary, and we're just kind of like we don't even want to know what's going to happen next.
A big play for the defense, though, that run stuff right there, that's a nice start.
It is.
That gets the confidence going and gets these guys thinking, you know what, we're back in this, and we're still in control of this game, and we're going to put you away.
Under a half minute to go in the third quarter now, and it's 25-12 Eagles. Here's a toss. All the way into the 20 and inside the 20 into about the 16 are the Vikings now after that pretty decent piece of running.
It was beautifully blocked on the outside. They cut down so many Norristown defenders, but yet Norristown's team speed, guys able to come from the backside all the way across the field to make the play. Short gain, only 4 yards.
That's going to bring the quarter to a conclusion, and it's 25-12 Eagles still, and the Vikings will have 3rd and 8 when we switch sides of the field.
Some surprising developments here in the third quarter. You see Norristown's loss of momentum after the half. You see Northeast begin to gain it. Momentum's one of those things, as you said, though, Mark, that could be quickly stopped by a great defensive stand. If you take the wind out of their sails here by shutting them down here and making them come away with 3 points, which is unlikely given the state of their kicking game, you know, that really will turn the game and possibly put it away for Norristown.
Meanwhile, Sheldon Mayer has been back on the field for some time now. That's definitely a great sign. He looks to be completely fine. And the Eagles trying to hold off this comeback. And I mean, you know, as much momentum as the Vikings have, they're still down 13 with 12 minutes to go. It's not exactly an ideal situation. So,
yeah.
Fortunately, the Eagles played such a stellar first half that they can afford to have some ugly moments in this half and still come away with a victory.
But is this the harbinger of things to come? Is this like the problems of last year revisited with second half play, the tale of two halves that we talked about many times the last couple of years? Do they play, and can they play, a complete football game?
So the first play of the fourth quarter, and the snap was a poor one. And let's see who came up with it. This could be Eagles' ball. It's doubtful, though.
That would be disastrous for Northeast.
Even if the Vikings did jump on it, they're going to have 4th down. And, of course, I'm sure they'll go for it, but
I pressure Stokes here and force him into making a mistake. I don't send the farm because you can't with him because he's got that arm to make those throws. but I send one or two, put some pressure on him, and keep him from being comfortable and sitting back there.
Well,
He's not in the shotgun.
4th and 9 after that dropped snap that lost them about 2. Lucky to still have the ball. Here's Stokes. Batted down at the line. And the Eagles have a turnover on downs, and once again we can breathe a sigh of relief, and Terrence Edwards knocked it down again.
Nice play by Terrence Edwards. That's his second batted ball of the evening. Keeps the hands up. Good, solid play. And that effectively stops the momentum.
It sure does. I mean, boy, I don't know about you, but I'm certainly breathing a little sigh of relief because, I don't know, one touchdown there. I mean, we saw how quickly you could turn the ball over when the Eagles, on the kickoff. Not even the first play from scrimmage. The kickoff, they coughed it up. But
yeah, I didn't like the looks of where that was going, but good stand by the Eagles defense.
They've been doing it all night, and they come up big here. And we have some movement before the snap.
Problem with running the counter is whenever you're getting those linemen in the pool, a lot of times what those linemen will do is they'll want to take that quick step in order to be able to pull out and get around the end. They left too early. You got to wait for the ball to be hiked.
So that'll force them to face a 1st and 15. And do you start being a little more conservative now, or is it too early for that?
You can't be more conservative here, Mark, and here's why. Their conservative play is what's not netted them any points in the second half so far. They've got to just stick with what they did in the first half. Don't change philosophies. Just keep doing what you did. Open it up a little bit with Shannon Mayer. Maybe not here, but we'll see. He's clearly showed he could throw.
Presley and Mayer in the backfield. They'll throw a short dump off to Roby, and he's spilled in the backfield. And I know you don't like that play.
I don't like that play a little bit, even getting the ball in the hands of somebody so explosive as Anthony Roby. The cornerback's on him. The cornerback, you're basically saying, my guy is going to make two people miss. That doesn't happen enough for me to be able to justify those odds.
I do like, however, that they try to get the ball into Roby's hands.
We talked about that.
In some way, but, I mean, there's got to be something better. I mean, have him come around the end or use him in the Wildcat. Do something. I mean, he does have that long receiving touchdown today, though, and here's Sheldon Mayer up the middle. Getting back nearly to the original line of scrimmage before the penalty.
Well, if nothing else, this eats up the clock. Gets us down to almost near the 10-minute mark. Still an eternity in football times, but it's starting to chip away at it slowly but surely. 3rd and 9.
Now inside of 10 minutes to go in the game. Eagles still up by 13. 4 wide receivers, including Sheldon Mayer, which leaves Presley alone in the backfield. Shannon Mayer drops back to throw. Throws over the middle for a wide open Sheldon Mayer. He's got one man to outrun. He's to the 20, to the 5, and he's into the end zone. A long touchdown by Sheldon Mayer, and the Eagles extend the lead to 31-12. Woo.
That's what happens when you have a good quarterback. He's back there. He's calm, cool, makes the throw, businesslike, gets it done, spots a wide open Sheldon Mayer. It's criminally foolish to let him so wide open. That's what happens.
Yeah, I don't know how he got that wide open, but the Eagles will certainly take it, and they are in major control of this game now. And there's that big play that I was talking about that effectively ends the game, whether it had been an interception or something like that.
Apparently somebody missed the many newspaper articles last year extolling Sheldon Mayer's many virtues. I guess they know now.
And that's the second Eagles touchdown today of over 60 yards.
Big play offense. Now, Mark, next time you get it, maybe you go conservative then and run it. But
now you're getting to that point.
I don't know. I want to see another. I want to see more highlights.
It definitely is fun to watch, and it's going to be all year. So continue to tune in and come out to some of these games as the extra point is tacked on.
A bit of a Bronx cheer goes up for the for the successful extra point. That's been a debacle all evening, and that was a success.
So it's 32-12 Eagles now, with 9:34 to go in the game. And, well, that second half complacency / loss of focus appears to perhaps be gone. What happened in the third quarter hopefully was just an aberration.
Yeah, the defense certainly played solid. They only let up 6 points in the second half, but the offense was flat and complacent. But Mayer, getting him back out there, big spark. He's their leader. He's their engine.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that I'm sure they were not even positive if he was going to return to the game at some point. But boy, did he return.
Now you take him out. If he's anyway banged up, now you take him out and let him sit.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to be carrying the ball a lot this year, and he has to play defense and the occasional punt return. So, yeah, if there's anything there, then yeah. Stewart, the kickoff specialist, out there again. He's been out there plenty of times tonight with all the touchdowns the Eagles have scored. That's a short squibbing kick to the 30, and the return gets number 20, Max. A solid chunky yardage, and they'll start just short of midfield at their own about 47.5.
It's odd how everyone on the Northeast squad, except for number 5, Malik Stokes, only has one name. Everyone's like Madonna or Bono, like Klein or Garnier or Slay. Pretty cool, actually. Kind of different.
So here comes Stokes and the Malik Stokes and the Vikings offense. Stokes drops back to throw. Short screen pass to Taylor. Gets beyond the line of scrimmage and all the way out to the first down marker, gain of about 12. The Eagles nearly looked like they were going to stop him in the backfield, but there was enough blockers there to get him past the line of scrimmage, and once he did that, he had some open field. Well,
they ran the screen correctly that time. They had the blockers out in front, unlike last time they tried it where it was shut down. The Eagles did a bad job on defense there. They should have recognized the screen. 74, Andre Allen did his part. He tried to obscure Stokes' vision, but unsuccessfully.
Yeah, now, I mean, I don't know how much they like to run the ball or whatever, but now it's got to be just tons of passing from here on out with the big deficit and not a lot of time left. This one's complete. Presley, first one there, and then he's brought down by Roby.
You know how every quarterback has that defining game? It seems like every big quarterback has a game that kind of defines their legacy, where they pull their team back from seemingly insurmountable odds. I wonder if Stokes has that kind of game here in him. Obviously, his Northeast friends are going to have to help him out a little bit. It can't be all him. But with 8:30 to go and 20 points, I wonder if he can do it.
The Eagles certainly hope not, and if the way they've played so far is any indication, they won't. But again, we are talking about Malik Stokes here. Jim Taylor up the middle and gets to about the 20. 8:13 to go, and it'll be 1st and 10.
It certainly will.
Yeah, I mean, 8 minutes to go now, 3 touchdowns. I mean, that's not impossible, so stay tuned, folks. Timeout, Eagles.
Yeah, not impossible at all, but we'll call it unlikely.
(32-12) Eagles once again in their opening game here against the Northeast Vikings. I'm Mark Kolodinsky along with Dave Fazzini, and you're watching NASD TV.
You know, it's truly astounding. Northeast High is one of the bigger high schools in the area. They have an enrollment of 2,600 students, and they're definitely a Quad A school. The Quad A classification cuts as long as there are 540 men enrolled in the school, you're considered a Quad A team for a particular sport. But there's only 43 guys on the Northeast roster. That seems strange to me. The percentages just aren't in our favor.
Yeah, they've got a very small team, especially compared to the Eagles. And yeah, with an enrollment that big, you just wonder why. But well, they're in a bit of a trick play here, and number 4 gets them inside the 10 to about the 8. That's Edwards. A lot of misdirection there. One guy going one way, hand the ball the other way. Fool the defense a little bit and get yourself a solid gain. That's all that is.
Nice, solid play, very quick, good execution. That's how it's done. Clock continues, though, to roll.
First and goal from the 8.
There's that shotgun again.
And a false start by the Vikings, I believe.
Wow. That wasn't even close.
And that's what it is. So first and goal from the 15.
This is interception zone for the Eagles. This is where they like to get those picks. Towards the end of the game, quarterbacks being forced to make bad decisions, trying to force it into the end zone here. This is a good time. It's a good time for a 100-yard interception return for Anthony Roby.
And if they don't punch this into the end zone, if they turn it over or if they just turn it over on downs, that pretty much effectively ends the game. Here's Stokes under duress, throws over the middle, has his man, and they get back to the 8 or perhaps to the 7. That's Brindage on the catch. And now second down.
Good throw, tight spiral, executes well, but still 9 yards to go, 6 minutes, 50 seconds left in the game. Clock is a ticking.
And they have to get this. And even if they do, they're still far from out of the woods. Stokes once again in the shotgun. Hands it off to Taylor. Taylor through the middle, and he is into the end zone for the touchdown. So the deficit is cut to 14.
Very explosive run right up the middle there by Taylor. Does a good job. Stokes quick on the handoff, precise, well-executed play.
6.5 minutes to go for the Vikings to make up a 14-point deficit. They have an extra point pending here, and the Eagles will receive this next kickoff. So see what they try to do.
Whether or not they are equal to the task remains to be seen. And as I look out here at historic Roosevelt Field, I am overwhelmed by the fan support here tonight. It really is a great night for football, and the fans have come through in a big way.
Well, the Vikings are going to go for 2. It certainly doesn't make sense with the score, but I guess with their kicking game, I guess that's what's causing them to do this. Stokes fires it into the end zone, and it is intercepted by Anthony Dinolfi, so it's no good. Anthony Dinolfi makes yet another play. He already has a 90-yard kick return for a touchdown, and he's been pretty much all over the field.
Anthony Dinolfi is impressive in all facets of the game. And like I said before, his brother would be proud. His brother is a stalwart player here for many years at Norristown. Well, not for many years, but for 4. I mean, many years make him sound like he failed, but he didn't. He's a smart kid, good guy. I don't want to make it sound like, he played here for 10 years. But, he did a great job, and he'd be proud. That's the basic crux of the argument.
Yeah, Alex Dinolfi, former quarterback here and also wide receiver that went on to play college ball at Kutztown, where he is now. And the Dinolfi name being carried on.
Very impressive.
And now
Can't say that enough.
If you're the Vikings, do you try to have some kind of an onside kicker, or are you not yet that worried?
If I'm the Vikings here,
it's a tough call.
It really is. Because I think you have to. You really do have to onside kick. .6:30 The Eagles are likely to score again. I get, yeah, you have to.
Well, many men up for Norristown and Sheldon Mayer back, and they kick it deep. It's going to be over Mayer's head. Great kick. And
Mayer's got to pick it up and run with it.
wow, it comes inches short from going into the end zone for a touchback. But now Mayer's got a hole. He's to the 20. Still going, slows down, and now is finally caught up to and finishes the run. And wow, that went from being nearly disastrous to a very successful play by Sheldon Mayer and the rest of the Eagles kickoff
I
unit.
like plays that are nearly disastrous for the Eagles, except when they result in another injury to Sheldon Mayer. He makes things look so effortless. But if he's hurt, and it looks like he might be, I don't know what you do.
Well, I mean, I know he made that huge play moments ago on that long touchdown catch. But I mean, even before that, I had said, don't risk anything. And if this is a result of them trying to allow him to play through it,
He's not going back in this game again.
he better not. And he got the ball all the way out to the 48-yard line where the Eagles will set up the offense. But I mean, with this game pretty much in hand, I think many eyes are starting to shift and kind of wonder what's going to happen with this kid.
He's not going back in this game. He's going to be on the bench. And the Eagles are going to run their offense without him. It's a good call.
It'll be Shippen in the backfield. He'll take the ball. Nothing there initially. Tried to bounce it out, but he loses about 2.
They look like they're going to try to take, Northeast looks like they're going to try to take advantage of Mayer's absence by blitzing those 2 inside backers. What I do to defeat that is something the Eagles haven't done all night. Get Battaglio involved in the offense. Get a quick tight end pass over the middle. Big yardage will result.
Yeah, we know Battaglio's an outstanding blocker. Again, first team all-league for mainly for his blocking. 6 catches for 71 yards all year. And he should be used as a receiving threat more. They said they were going to use him, but we haven't seen it so far.
Those inside backers are cheating up.
They come on a blitz, and it's a toss for Dinolfi, and he's brought down in the backfield. So on the last 2 plays, the Eagles have lost about 7 yards, and the absence of Sheldon Mayer is apparent.
So the running game at this stage of the contest is going to accomplish one of 2 goals. 1, it's going to run the clock down, or 2, you're trying to gain big yardage. What are you doing here, losing 7 yards? Run it up the middle if your goal is to, kill clock.
3rd and 16. Dinolfi once again in the backfield. Mayer drops back in some serious trouble. The referee in his way, and he loses, I don't even know how many. It'll be 4th and
10, 20, 35. That was an unmitigated disaster.
Shannon Mayer should have just cut his losses, but he tried to escape. Couldn't get rid of the ball, and I don't know, not a real good play by him. Of course, the offensive line set him up to be in that situation, but he's had an outstanding night, and doesn't turn the ball over. The clock will continue to run, but he does give the Vikings way better field position for anything they might have left. Hillenbrand gets the punt away. It's a pretty good one. 2 Vikings were there to catch it, but it was number 2, Harmon, who fielded it.
Good
and
coverage.
The Vikings love a short field.
Looked like number 46, Ronvel Barrett, on the coverage on the kick there. So not bad. It's the best that could be expected after such the horror. Four minutes left, though, Mark. Defense has got to shut them down. Defense has got to do the job here.
The Vikings from the 47. There's Stokes thrown short. caught, and only a 3-yard gain from Stokes to Hines.
There's that wide receiver little screen there.
Didn't work. There is a flag.
Another flag.
See if they can get this penalty sorted out.
Still waiting for the signal.
Boy, this next 3 minutes and 52 seconds cannot go quick enough for the Eagles. I'll tell you that much right now.
No, this can't go fast enough for the Eagles. It's going to be a 15-yard unsportsmanlike call against Norristown, and you don't want that. That is a gift. Are you kidding me? An unsportsmanlike conduct call after the game you've played like this? That's inexcusable.
The clock running. 3:45 to go. Stokes drops back, rolls out a little bit to his right. Now throws, has an open man. That's Brindage, makes a man miss, and he's taken down at the 20. Let's see, did they say he get out of bounds? And this clock being stopped. No, they'll wind it. So Brindage unable to get out of bounds. 3.5 minutes, and the clock is ticking. Valuable time ticking off for the Vikings. So here's Stokes handing it off to number 4, Edwards, and he gets a couple. And that's not going to get it done at this stage of the game.
That's not smart football by Northeast. That's not what you do. You throw it.
You just, wow. I mean, they're still running the ball well over 50% of the time, and they're down big late in the game.
I guess they don't believe their own quarterback's press clippings.
Yeah, I mean, it's even more mind-boggling when you think that you got a guy like Malik Stokes. Now they'll throw over the middle, and it's caught for a gain of about 13.
And you see the effectiveness of these passes, and you're like, why are you not going to that?
Just 2:40 to go now.
Clock winds. Northeast continues to take its sweet old time.
First and goal. They got to score, recover some kind of an onside kick, and then hope that Stokes can finish that. But they got a lot of work to do before they can start thinking about that drive.
Yeah.
Stokes fakes the handoff and runs. He's got it. Touchdown, Vikings.
So yeah, the clearly your weapon is Stokes. It is very apparent that that's the case. Why do you pretend like it's anything different?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, every time they've run that little play, fake the inside handoff and take off, it's been successful, yet they continue to go to other things. Right here, they'll go for 2. They're down by 8. If you kick an extra point, you're down by 7, but I guess their kicking game has absolutely zero trust.
Yeah.
Here's Stokes. Throws. Oh, he missed an open man. And now it's an 8-point game.
No matter how rancid your kicking game may be, and believe me, their kicking game is exceedingly rancid. Don't you at least have to give it there? I mean, come on.
Wow.
Now you've got to score a touchdown and get the 2, which they haven't done yet, to tie it. If you get this, if you recover this onside kick, which you have to do.
That's what I was going to say. They'd be lucky to even get the ball back, let alone start thinking about 2-point conversions. Well, they got 2 minutes and change, 18 seconds to be exact. And the Eagles' defense has played well to this point. I mean, the first half, they were outstanding. Second half, some things have started to go downhill.
Yeah.
And that's why the Vikings now have 24 points.
seems like some of those accolades for the Eagles defense were a bit premature because
Maybe.
they really did let Northeast come back in a big way, a big and disturbing way that we talked about before, possibly having further implications down the season as the competition gets a bit stiffer.
Yeah, if they could finish this off and make a good defensive drive here, or perhaps they don't even let the Vikings have the ball, then all's forgiven, but certainly not forgotten, because as you said, you got to fix these kind of things and make sure nothing like it happens again.
And Mayer's back deep.
They were up 19 going into half. So Mayer's night not finished. He picks it up, gets to the 25 and to the 30 in a swarm of white jerseys there, and up to about the 34. Well, Sheldon Mayer, he's banged up, but they're still going to him.
There's another Eagle down.
Wow.
Doctor's got to come out again. Unable to see who it is from this vantage point.
Well, it's not Mayer.
It's not Mayer.
That's fortunate, but I mean, man, I can't believe all these injuries in this situation. It's Ikeem Boyd.
Ikeem Boyd.
Well, Sheldon Mayer's your guy who got you 1,200 yards last year, led your team in catches, of course tied with Roby, 12 touchdowns.
Yep.
But now that you're only up by 8, you're forced to have him play through injury. I mean, perhaps they could let him sit down, but I mean, it's no longer a comfortable lead.
Yeah. No, it certainly isn't. He's your best player, so you have to have him out there.
I mean, perhaps if the defense hadn't allowed the Vikings to get back into this game, Mayer could be saved, and he's healthier for the rest of the season. It's just the small things like that make you think sometimes. I mean, and if they win this game, then great, we're 1-0, but I mean, could any of this stuff be a problem? It's been a battle out there. And they hand it off to Dinolfi, and he gets out to he gets a gain of about 5.
The Eagles have already lost a player due to injury. I mean, they lost Tyler Smith, who is going to be one of their major running back contributors. They lost him in the preseason, number 20, separated shoulder. So you never know. I mean, hopefully these injuries don't continue to pile up.
Anthony Dinolfi actually just kind of came off a little bit awkwardly, and some of the trainers were talking to him. I wouldn't look too much into it, but just a little observation. He's all right. But he definitely did come off a little bit gingerly.
But the doctor is tending to Ikeem Boyd.
Yeah, wow. I mean, the injuries just don't stop. I mean, they've had a good 4 or 5 players who have ended up down on the field or being looked at on the sideline in one game. And that's unfortunate. I mean, that's one thing that can derail any season. I don't care how good your team is. If you get bit hard by the injury bug, there's nothing you can do. But fortunately, these are hopefully they're all just small, injuries and nothing serious. And
yeah,
that's definitely certainly a possibility.
Boyd's running it off. Looks like he's jogging. They wanted to see him run.
Seems like that's what they've all been doing, so that's fortunate. 2nd and 5, meanwhile. The Eagles need a first down or 2 to seal this one. Mayer keeps it, trying to get to the outside. Don't go out of bounds. And he gets about 2. That'll bring up 3rd down for the Eagles. And, of course, since Shannon Mayer ended up out of bounds, that
clock stops.
The clock stops. And, that's in large part due to the play call. When you run a quarterback sweep or whatever you want to call it around the outside, I mean, you can't really fault him for having to go out of bounds.
You don't want him taking big hits.
That's another thing, yeah. I mean, if you run plays designed to go to the outside with your quarterback, that's going to happen. But 3rd and 7, we got flags before the snap.
Looks like a dead ball foul delay a game.
Still a minute 55 to go in this game. The Eagles just trying to do whatever they can to run it off the clock as they have the 8-point 32-24 lead.
If I were to carve the entirety of the Epic of Gilgamesh into a slab of granite, it would take less time than this second half. This is just long. Really, really long.
Certainly seen a lot of offense and high scoring, though, so if you like that, I'm sure you enjoyed this game. That's a sack fumble. Mayer goes down, loses the ball, and I think the Eagles are on top of it.
Hopefully the clock keeps running and seconds become faster than they are, because this can't end soon enough.
So the Eagles do recover it, and the Vikings call timeout to stop the clock. Boy, if the Vikings would have recovered that, wow. But still, even the fact that the Eagles did recover it, now they're going to have to kick it away. And a minute 46 for Stokes and his high-flying offense, which didn't look so high-flying early on, but it sure does now. And remember, it's an 8-point game, not a 7-point game. So that's another thing to keep in the back of your mind. We didn't think it would come to that. Hopefully it still doesn't. But here we are. Hillenbrand to punt it away. 2 men deep for the Vikings. It's a high, booming kick. Hillenbrand's done a nice job punting all day. And here's Taylor. And the blue jersey swarm in around him. And he's to about the 45. And another Eagle is down on the field in agony.
And it's Boyd again. And here come the medical staff. No, this is number 48 this time, Brent Golson.
Unbelievable.
This really is unbelievable.
And so much for your seconds running off faster, because this is only going to make this take even longer. But hopefully Golston's all right. That's first and foremost right now. Minute 34 to go. Eagles up by 8, but the Vikings are about to begin a drive, which could potentially tie the game if they tack a 2-point conversion onto the end of it. They got about 50 yards to go, though.
This is like 8 injuries in the second half for the Eagles. This is not good. Certainly, Mr. Flynn has had to be out there
He's earning his
a whole
paycheck.
bunch of times. He's earning his paycheck tonight, that's for certain.
And that's not a good thing for anybody, because that means there's a lot of injuries, and no one wants that.
No one wants that. Golson coming off a little slowly.
But once again, walking off under his own power.
Yeah. Defense needs a big stop here.
1st and 10. Here's Stokes. Over the middle, it's bobbled, and it's intercepted by Anthony Roby. Roby to the 40. Steps out of bounds just shy of the 30, and that ball bounced around Anthony Roby. Right place, right time. Great instincts. And the day has been saved by senior 6-foot cornerback / wide receiver, the 4'3", 5'40" guy, Anthony Roby.
I got my Roby interception. I didn't get him to take it to the house like I wanted, but you can't always get what you want.
You'll get more. You'll get more the rest of
I'll
the
get
season.
more. I'll get more.
You'll see it.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Unexpected.
What a
Now,
great game, though.
Here's the game plan. Start kneeling. That's it. Rinse, lather, repeat. Do that. Nothing else.
Sheldon Mayer still in the game, and he gets about 2 o'clock will run. I don't really think it's necessary to have him in there anymore, but that's just me.
Yeah. Unless he's going to watch his brother kneel.
Honestly, you don't want to score here. It's a situation where if you get to the 1, you just take a seat and end the game.
Just let it end.
Boy, so many great performances here tonight, though. Milo Hill and Anthony Roby each with an interception and a touchdown catch. Shannon and Sheldon Mayer were both outstanding. Anthony Dinolfi was the surprising hero of the game, scoring that long touchdown and doing all the other things he did. Here's Mayer up the middle. He's got a huge gain, still fighting all the way down to the 6.
And let's not forget what the defense has done here tonight. The defense did a really good job in the first half. They let up a lot in the second half. Coach Smith has to squash that immediately. It is unacceptable what they've done in the second half, although Roby came up with that big play, so all is forgiven.
But not forgotten.
But not forgotten.
And that first down run by Sheldon Mayer obviously ices this game. And the Eagles will escape with the 32-24 victory and going to start off this optimistic 09 season on the right foot. And it was a little bit scary. The first half was outstandingly played. Then it got scary, but here they are with the win. And there's a flag, so I guess we'll have to wait another couple seconds before we can call it official.
Or will we, as the two sides walk off the field here at historic Roosevelt Field. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great night here from Roosevelt Field. And for Mark Kolodinsky, I am Dave Fazzini wishing you good night, and we'll see you next week.